Boys! Boys! No, he stopped doing it because you took it. PC had a party. Stream it to Discord. No, that's just the latest reply. A console player? Lol. My birthday. Where did it say it? Well, eternal orbs are only in Ruthless, but yeah. Yes. But ruthless items don't ever come to standard. Yeah, that's always been a thing. You can like create a custom like league for you to play only with your friends, so it's separate from the main game. Yeah, but then there's no economy, so you can't buy anything from people. Yeah. They did, yeah. skim over this part here. There's a if you search Reddit PoE 2.1 mega or PoE 3.21 mega thread, there's images of all the skill gems. I don't think they're in the thread, no. Snipe? I don't remember, we're looking for prismatic something. Ah, I see. Yeah. So anything that has a link with an image, you can click on and see. Is your mic active now?
It is active now.
All right, boys, the TLDR of what happened over the last 15 minutes is that we're going over the patch notes of 3.21. We were talking about all the different things that are going to come with Crucible League, including crafting items, experience gained by channeling on the Crucible crafting thing. And then we talked about how we're going to look over the new skills here. We talked about the Snipe Unique, the new Snipe helmet. Not the new Snipe helmet, but the
Snipe skill gem. So for those that have never seen Snipe before, Snipe was on a unique, previously the only source of Snipe in the game, in which it would convert your main socketed skill into Snipe. It had stages to channel as well, also triggering whatever you had attached to it, plus all of its socketed support gems or other socketed skills. It seems like with them transforming this into... Where's Snipe? Right here. With them turning this into an actual skill gem, they are kind of burying the Asylum Sinner Tricorn. Here, I will also pull it back up. We can talk about it. Because with the Asylum, you're also getting 40% less damage of socketed or triggered skills. Socketed triggered bow skills deal 40% less damage. It gives you a little accuracy, evasion, and 14% chance to suppress spell damage while channeling, which is good if you're taking that as crit. But this was formerly the only source of Snipe in the game, and it only went to level 20. There was no way to get this to level 21. So we're about to have level 21 Snipe. Or level, God even knows, level like 30 Snipe or anything like that. And it's a pretty broken skill, especially when you used it, I was using it on Bleed Bow, pairing it with a Maloney's, and then as you're hitting them for huge damage, because you're hitting them with Snipe, you're hitting them with all of the other socketed skills, you're hitting them with all of the support gems in it that also support Snipe. And the Maloney's would inflict Ensnaring Arrow, so since they're bleeding, it would make them unable to move, but also considered as moving, so they'd take bleed damage faster. It was a really fun build. It just needed... It needed currency, I think is what it was. That's all it needed. We were close for like 5 div to coming up with a pretty great build. But this is going to absolutely bury that unless they rebalance the Asylum. We just started going over 9 new Vol skills. Very excited about that. In the live reveal trailer, they showed Vol Arctic Armor, which gives you temporary almost immunity. We'll have to actually read. Hold on. Where's the mega thread here? Oh, they don't have images of everything. Although we do have an actual word for word instant in cases you... Instant is a huge modifier already. Encases you in ice and stops all movement and non-instant actions for base 5 seconds or until hit 3 times. Take 90% less damage and regenerate mana and ES. Applies freeze to the player. So you're frozen. If you can't be frozen, I don't know if that stops it. But it says stops all movement and non-instant actions. So you could probably still dash. But take 90%.
Does it open up an image?
Oh no, there it goes. Modifiers to skill effect duration also apply to this skill's soul gain prevention. You take 90% less damage from hits and count as frozen. Interesting. Ice breaks after you take 3 damaging hits or duration expires. Buff grants 5 mana regeneration per second. Buff grants 20 ES regeneration per second. So, what it doesn't say is that it actually prevents movement with any modifier other than frozen, which means cannot be frozen, Vol Arctic Armor, and you're taking 90% less damage for 3 hits. Which in a mob isn't much, but against a boss, that's huge. Add on to that something like Heat Shiver, where you're gaining damage from being frozen. Or that's chilled, right?
Heat Shiver is enemies take 100% more fire damage if they're frozen.
If they're frozen.
Cold as fire.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's huge. Vol Lightning Arrow, we already saw, in which it'll, randomly... What does it actually say? Let's read the actual one. Projectiles pierce all targets. That's a big L right there. But I guess since they're going to be traveling around for a while, it's not too bad. Fires 4 additional arrows, which is huge. That's a lot of extra arrows. Projectiles change directions 9 times. So this will work with enemies, confirmed, because it's already got mods saying that they're going to change directions 9 times. It's not random. They're not target selecting. And then at the end of their flight, at the end of their 9 direction changes, they will come back to you, which will be even crazier. Hit targets each time they change direction. Modifiers, which would cause projectiles to fork or chain, instead cause them to change directions additional times. I'm trying to think of where this would be a better use than fork and chain, because those are the 2 actual main supports, as you're using fork and you're using chain for way more projectiles. Projectiles fires projectiles sequentially. Interesting. Hit up to 3 additional enemies near the target, same as Lightning Arrow. Projectiles cannot split. So if you want to make a Vol Lightning Arrow build, it looks like you're going to have to actually put a little more thought into it. It's also less attack damage and less effectiveness of added damage. So it looks good, but how it plays on paper, I guess we've yet to see. I also wanted to look at Vol Ice Shot. Huh? Fires an icy arrow and creates multiple mirages of your character that also fire at the same target. Whoa. The mirages persist for a few seconds, firing again when you use Ice Shot. Wait a second, where's image 2? We don't actually have a photo of the skill gem yet, I guess that's okay, right? Creates multiple Mirage. Dude, Vol Ice Shot could be huge. It's like Mirage Archer, but it looks like you get 4 of them. And it says they fire as you fire Ice Shot, which means
So
huge.
it's basically Wumbo single target.
Yeah, that's huge. Rejuvenation Totem Firestorm. Calls down several massive meteors that spiral inwards towards the target, leaving burning ground. Let's see. It just looks like the regular one. Creates a patch of burning ground on impact. Yeah, I mean, Firestorm's already pretty broken. For those that have seen it, it's usually used in like ward loop builds. That's nuts, yeah. The Atlas gateways are going to work like Impossible Escape for your Atlas tree, in which you allocate 1 node here and 1 node on the other side of the tree, and it'll save you about 8 to 10 points depending on where you're pathing from. for the cost of 2. So it's nice. Hopefully we'll see some new juicing strats coming out of this that have never been tried before or weren't possible or viable before because you couldn't fully spec into something on the opposite side of the tree that might have gone well. Like, let's say, I don't even know. If you wanted to do, like, what's even on the left side of the tree other than Alva stuff? Beyond. Like, if you wanted to do Breach and Beyond, before it'd be very hard to spec into both unless you went all the way up and around the hat and used all of your points on that, which wouldn't leave you much to play around with for other mechanics. But now, 1 point here, 1 point here, you can go get those Beyond nodes, no problem, no sweat. We went over Snipe. Mana Forged Arrows supports bow attack skills, causing them to trigger when you've spent an amount of total mana. This is going to be great because you're no longer going to need a Maloney's. Like we were talking about the use case of Ensnaring Arrow with a bleed setup. This would be a great way to do that if you wanted to put it in your boots and have a better quiver than a Maloney's and actually get the huge stats out of it. Especially with Crucible trees, you might not want to have a Maloney's. This is just a nice little quality of life support. Supported skills deal more damage based on their mana cost. So, in other words, jack that up. Don't be putting inspiration on it. Prismatic Burst, we were talking about. It's random element damage type based off of your highest attribute. This would be really cool for like a Trinity Omniscience build. You'd probably get a lot of value out of having it naturally just cycle through the elements. But this is also a cool skill because for people who want to stack Dex, they get cold damage. For people who want to stack Int, they get lightning damage, etc., etc. Based off of, what you actually want to stack. So this could be really cool for, attribute stackers. Added new Dexterity/Strength support gem Momentum. Supports attack skills that aren't triggered. Using those skills will grant momentum, which is lost when you move. What is momentum? Don't really have an idea yet, huh?
So there was a small little clip that they released, and it looks like when you hit something, you gain a small burst of speed for a short duration. Not hit, when you kill something. So you get a kill and you get a short burst of speed. So that's why it's called momentum. So as long as you keep killing things, you keep the speed.
But it's lost when you move. Including teleporting, they were smart. They're like, yeah, we're not making that mistake again. Added over 10 new unique items. That's going to be cool to see. We've seen a few of them off of their leaks already, off of their Twitter. We've seen a few. I'm sure there'll be a few more details down in either the Reddit or further down as we go. Added 5 new div cards designed by our supporters. That's cool. The following currencies now have a stack size of 20. Orbs of Alchemy, Vol Orbs, Chaos Orbs, Tainted Chaos Orbs, Eldritch Chaos Orbs, Veiled Chaos Orbs, Chaos Orbs, Not So Chaos Orbs.
So, those 5 new divination cards designed by our supporters. Go to the Twitter. They released one, I believe, yesterday. You should go take a look at it.
Path of Exile Twitter.
Right there. It's the first post. There it is.
Oh my god. Do we know if these are target farmable?
I believe they will be. And they're actually, I believe... Do you see the flavor text on it?
Even though this flame is burned out, he will never fade away?
It's in reference to the div card Brother's Stash, which is being removed, which gives 5 Exalted Orbs.
Oh, wow. Which was farmable from where?
Cemetery.
Okay, so Cemetery might be the new, and it does have the gravestones, so, maybe it is Cemetery still.
It's the same exact art as Brother's Stash, so they're removing Brother's Stash. It's now Brother's Gift.
Vol Animate Weapon. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that
Turns weapons or lingering blades into an army of random unique weapons?
Yep.
Random unique? You know what kind of random busted ass uniques you could get? Imagine all the debuffs that could be inflicting while you're also still dealing damage. Oh, we have footage of Ball Ice Shot. That's insane.
Oh yeah.
Summon 6 Mirage Sharpshooters. Yo, what the hell?
Yep. Ice Shot League starter?
Ball Ice Shot might actually be better than my original plan with Caustic or Toxic Rain. But you can't use it with totems is the only thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why people go Toxic Rain is because there's literally only 2 nodes you have to, 2 clusters you have to actually spec into in order to make it max damage. Items now persist in vendor shops for multiple levels so that you have a chance to buy them before they vanish. Each time you level up, the oldest items are removed and some new ones are added. You can also now rarely find rare items at vendors. I guess that's cool. If they don't make them overly expensive. One of the biggest hurdles of starting a new league is everybody's checking the vendors for movement speed boots and stuff like that to help you get through the acts quicker. So imagine if you don't get one of those, and then you have to go 10 more levels before you can actually buy one. That would be a bit of a... No. Is this gonna... There it goes. League revamps. Here's what we're excited for. Breach, they're basically just giving a huge buff to. Abyss, we don't have too many details on until we actually read this. In this expansion, we've targeted a couple of endgame leagues that have fallen behind our other leagues on the Atlas tree, Breach and Abyss. Abyss, they gave a huge buff to with the new expanded Atlas passive tree, which was nice. However, it didn't feel too good. One thing they did say is that now, you know, sometimes you would spec into Abyss, you'd go to chase it around, and on the very first attempt, it would drop down into an abyssal depths, and they're now moving that to the end. So if you are fully spec'd in, and you get the, 10 additional locations for the Abyss, you could farm it for a while, and then still have an abyssal depths, instead of just losing all your good stuff.
And now, every single Abyss is going to have an abyssal depths. Or no, yeah. That's not what they said. They said every
abyssal depth is going to have a lich.
That's what it is, yeah.
Alright, let's start with Breach. The pacing of Breach encounters has been improved. There were nodes for this on the tree that went from 0 to 100 real quick, because you'd hit a Breach and you'd have to stand there for 5 minutes while you waited for everything to spawn, but then you spec into it, and it's like they open real fast, they close real fast, and you are mobbed. So it's nice that they're buffing the base level of Breach. They now feel dense, with monsters throughout the Breach, leaning more to one side of it, feeling overwhelming towards the end. We've also reduced the duration of breaches so that there's a constant monster pressure and you can get on with your mapping sooner, which is good because that's why a lot of people weren't stopping. The number of breach splinters dropped are now affected by increases and reductions to item quantity. That's fire. You can go farm actual breach stones. They're also changing how breach stones work, but we're about to get there. The experience gained from killing breach monsters in your maps has been reduced, and the number of breach splinters dropped from monsters has been rebalanced, as you're now encountering more of them. The number of breach splinters dropped by breach bosses in your map have been reduced. Charged, enriched, and pure breach stones have been removed. Existing items will be converted to regular breach stones upon logging in after the launch of 3.21. Zoff's, Tull's, and Esh's breach stones now have a monster level of 81. Ulnatal's breach stone now has a monster level of 82. And Shayula's breach stone now having a monster level of 83. It sounds like Shayula's going to be some pretty decent XP farming early on. Breach blessings can now be used to upgrade regular breach stones into the flawless versions of that breach stone. Breach blessings are now rarer as a result, which I think I do have one actually. It's going to be in standard obviously by the time this goes live, but I'll be able to use it. Flawless breach stones no longer drop from Maven invitations. Wow, okay. So you actually have to get them from Breach, which is good. Normal breach stones are now the only kind of breach stones offered by Kirak upon using the otherworldly scouting report, and are only offered as a red Kirak mission. That's good to know. Otherworldly scouting report. We'll have to look into that. The harvest crafting option for breach splinters and breach stones has been updated to change the stack of breach splinters or normal or flawless or a normal or flawless breachstone into splinters or a breachstone of another type. So if you had Ulnatals, you could hit it and hope you got Shayulas, or, you know, Zoftals or Eshes and hope you got Ulnatals, etc., etc. Breachstones now have their own item class. It's Breachstone. Who would have guessed? Lol. It That Fled's Betrayal Research Safe House rewards are now map device crafting options that can be used on Breachstones. Interesting. It That Fled's Research Safe House. So they're tying it to Syndicate, I guess. Right? Yeah, they're tying it to Syndicate missions for map device crafting options for Breachstones only. Now, I'm wondering what kind of mods are going to come along with that, but I actually kind of like the way that sounds. The Enchanted Map modifier for defeating It That Fled on fortification duty in Mastermind's Lair now has map contains 4 additional breaches, previously 5. The number of breach splinters obtained from other league content such as Incursion or Heist has been reduced. The rate at which breachstones open and close in the breach containment chamber and House of Others incursion rooms has been reduced. That's probably not the best. If you're in a breach zone, it's going to take longer. I feel like sometimes you're waiting for it to catch up to you as well, but maybe that's targeted towards slower players or melee builds. The rate at which breaches open and closes in Nico's Memory of Grasping Hands has been reduced. The Otherworldly Artifacts notable passive no longer has rare breach monsters in your map have a 0.5% chance to drop an additional breach blessing. Instead, it now has breaches in your maps have 20% increased monster density, good quality. It also now causes breach monsters in your map to have 50% increased chance to drop a breach unique item, previously 100%. Interesting. The Within Their Grasp notable Atlas passive no longer provides chances for breach stones dropped by breach bosses in your maps to be charged, enriched, or pure, obviously since they've been removed from the game. Instead, it now causes breach stones dropped by breach bosses in your maps to have a 5% chance to be flawless. It also now causes breach bosses defeated in your maps to have a 4% chance to drop a breach stone, previously 12. So they nerfed that, but you're also only getting one of 2 options. So it's more often than not, you're going to end up with these flawless ones. The Flash Breach notable Atlas passive no longer causes breaches in your maps to have increased monster density or area of effect. It now causes breaches in your maps to open and close 10% faster. Previously 50. They nerfed the hell out of Breach on the Atlas, I guess. We've also added a new Heavy Breach notable Atlas passive next to the Flash Breach. Heavy Breach causes your breaches in your maps to open and close 30% slower. Now... I don't think that's going to affect the rate at which breach monsters spawn. So this is just more breach. 30% slower is a lot slower too. 2 small Atlas passives have been between probing for weakness and evolving hives now causes breaches in your map to open and close 4% faster. Previously 8. So if you really wanted to min-max this, you could be like, let's go 30% slower and then 4% faster for 26%. I don't know why you would, but I'm just saying you could do it if you wanted to. The Gatekeeper's notable Atlas passive now causes breaches in your maps to have 20% increased chance to contain a boss, previously 7, and breach bosses in your map have 20% chance to drop double breach splinters, previously 100%. The Power Struggle notable Atlas passive no longer causes breaches in your maps to contain 2 additional breach boss clasped hands. Instead, it now causes breach all these breaches and bosses and now causes breaches in your maps to have a 100% increased chance to contain a breach boss's clasped hand. It also now causes breach boss's clasped hands in your maps to have 4% chance to spawn a breach boss when open, previously 5%. That's not too bad of a change. Torture Dreams notable Atlas passive now causes Chiulu Who Dreamt in your maps to have 50% chance to be duplicated. Wow. Oh, they were previously 100. I was going to say, that sounds kind of busted. The Freed from the Flesh notable Atlas passive. Oh, this is all for... They're doing this for all of the bosses. Duplication goes down from 100% to 50%. The Bargain and the Eye of Terror divination cards have been temporarily disabled, and existing cards cannot be turned in currently. Breach Scarabs have been reviewed to account for these changes. Here's what they now provide.
Rusted breach scarabs cause an area to contain an additional breach. Polished an additional breach and cause breaches in the area to contain additional breach bosses clasped hand. Oh, that's huge. What's the winged? 2 additional breaches. Cause breaches in the area to contain an additional breach boss's clasped hand. And breach hands in area to drop double breach splinters. That's huge. It's no longer just how many additional breaches, it is now breaches and the quality of your breaches, which is going to make winged breach scarabs and gilded. Upgrading your breach scarabs to gilded is actually going to be a huge step up compared to just getting 2 additional breaches, which might spawn anyways. You are now improving the quality of each and every breach just because you upgraded, you know, 3 rusted to a polished and 3 polished to a gilded. That's large. We've also revamped many breach uniques. I'm not too much a fan of breach uniques, but the red dream unique jewel now has 6-10% of fire damage, extra chaos. The red nightmare unique jewel is passes granting fire resistance or all elemental resistance in radius. Also grant chance to block attack damage at 50% of their value.
Yeah, so this section, these are all the changes to most of the uniques. These are, a couple of these are wumbo. Kind of skim through to the ones that you recognize.
The red nightmare is actually huge. That's actually kind of huge.
What part?
The red nightmare? I've never seen this jewel before, but passives granting fire resistance or all Elires in radius also grant chance to block attack damage.
Oh yeah, that's
at 50% of its value. You're telling me if you can get, I mean, what's a cluster? It's like 5%, 6% Elires per node.
Yeah, something like that.
And if you get 4 of them, that's 24% at 54% of its value. That's 14% chance to block.
Yep.
That's large. Let's see, the green dream, green nightmare, blue dream, blue nightmare, the severed and sleep.
Oh, so the Severed in Sleep is, not the Severed in Sleep. Something else. Who's that?
Who's what?
Hello.
Hello. What's going on, Coffee?
Oh, well. What?
How do you feel about the fact they're removing Mage Blood from the game? It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
They are?
Yeah, they just posted about it on Twitter.
I doubt it.
Due to a bug, they're disabling Mage Blood from the game for 3.2.0.
I doubt it.
Formless Inferno, Zoph's Heart, Tollborn Unique. Perfect Form, the Hand of Thought, the Hand of Wisdom, Esh's Mirror.
So the United in Dream, which you scroll past it, that's the one weapon that Ben used when he did the one item kill.
There it is. No longer has minions deal 60 to 80% increased damage. Good going, Ben. Or minions leech 5% of damage as life against poisoned enemies. Instead, it now has minions recover 10% of life on killing a poisoned enemy. Oh, they already know you're poison converting your SRS build. Come on, they're helping you out there. Okay.
So
Are there any other notable breach uniques that I should be looking at?
Yes, the Bubonic Trail.
The bubonic. Haha, you said boob.
Yeah.
Light poetry is gonna be pretty crazy.
I don't see that in breach uniques.
Oh, it's in Abyss Uniques. Keep going.
Oh, got you. Here, we'll go through Abyss. Abyssal depths now always contain a lich. That's gonna be huge. That's where that giant what's the name of the jewel that drops from liches? It's like 10 div.
I forgot. Oh.
Oh, fun. But see, now this will make it better to farm abysses at the very least because you have such a higher chance to drop something that's actually worthwhile. Instead of ruining your abyss to go down and get nothing out of it. It is now possible for a Stygian Spire to spawn in the place of an abyssal trove at the end of an abyss, which will drop all of the jewels and other items you would normally receive, as well as a Stygian Vice. So that you no longer have to open the chest; it'll just start throwing loot out, huh?
But you used to only be able to get the Stygian Vice from killing the Lich at the bottom, and it would be like 100% drop rate. But now there's just a chance instead of an Abyssal Depths, there'll just be a Stygian Spire that drops one at the end.
Yeah. Now I spawn at the 4th hole. I thought it was gonna be the last one. Abyssal Depths now always spawn at the 4th hole.
That's the last one.
Is it? Can't you get them to go up to like 6 if with the what's it called? I guess that means min-max your juice, min-max your Atlas. Alright, Ulaman, Sovereign of the Wells. Sovereign of the Well has had their life increase and can now use their cleave skill from further away. The speed of the projectiles from their spirit spending ability has been reduced, though their damage has been increased. They now spawn more geysers, which have had both of their damage and duration increased also.
I have an invitation.
Oh no.
To a party? Where are we going?
What?
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 Yeah.
What? Amanamu, that's just fun to say. Legion of the Lightless has had their life increased and is now more likely to use their thrust attack. And mortar projectiles summoned during the flight now last longer. Amanamu's channeled projectile attack now deals more damage through their turn. While channeling, this has been reduced. The health of the Stygian Spires and Stygian Hearts spawned in this fight has been increased. Stygian Spires no longer gain a damage taken buff upon using their skills. Instead, they now spawn a reduced damage taken buff, which tapers off over 5 seconds, and their life has been increased. Awakened Depths Atlas notable passive no longer cause abyssal depths in your map to have a 100% chance to contain a Lich, as that would be silly. Love that they added that in there. And now causes abysses in your maps to have a 100% increased chance to lead to an abyssal depths, previously 50. So, Abyss is going to be very farmable. Let this Legion Atlas notable passive. I beg to differ. You gotta chase them around. Sometimes they hit abyssal depths, and then you might as well just stop there. Because...
Yeah, that's why I stopped. I had like 16 points in that huge abyss cluster at the top, and then I realized I was like, "What if it doesn't do more than like 2?" And then I just wasted that whole 16 points.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed juice. But at least now you can guarantee abyssal depths, and there's always going to be a Lich. Like way better for farming.
Yeah.
Yo, Prey.
What's up?
Path of Math told my Dead build that it was really fucking good.
Oh, you know him?
Path of Math? What?
No, I messaged him in game. Because he has the highest DPS out of any Kinetic Blast 5-waiter.
And he answered?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course he did.
And he said the build's good, but
Yeah. But
so what do you
the reason why I'm getting low kills, right, is because of my fucking resetter. Simple as that.
Yeah, your resetter must suck.
But yo, I have an invitation.
I heard you. Check your Discord messages, bruv.
Bruv? Lightless Legion Atlas notable passive has been renamed to Inspired Darkness. It no longer grants monster level, increased number of magic and rare monsters, or increased pack size for abyssal depths in your maps. Instead, it now provides Stygian Spires in your map, drop items with +1 to eye level. They were talking about this a bit in the video, so that way it's easier to farm, you know, level 86 Stygian Vices. Better for crafting. Which is nice, because those will now be target farmable as well. I see the price of Stygian Vices coming down until they're really, really good with T1 all reses and Chaos res.
What do you mean, by the way? If
As
you
far
did
as
any abyss in a T16 map and it led to a depths and you killed a crystal spire or whatever and it dropped a Stygian Vice, it was guaranteed 86, right?
no, it was 85, wasn't it?
No, 86.
I didn't think it was 86 either. That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's a unique enemy, right?
Yeah, but the odds of getting that enemy, the odds of getting a Lich at all were pretty low. At least now you can make it 100%.
Yeah.
2 small Atlas passages prior to Inspired Darkness no longer grant abyssal depths in your maps have 15% increased pack size. They now provide abysses in your maps that do not lead to an abyssal depths have 10% increased chance to lead to a Stygian Spire. Again, more target farming. We love to see it. Quantity of items dropped in abyssal depths in your map. Instead, they now provide abysses in your maps that have 5% increased chance to lead to an abyssal depths, and abyssals in your maps do not lead to an abyssal depths of 5% increased chance. Okay, so they're both just more Stygian Spire. We've also taken the opportunity to revisit Abyss unique
abyssal depths.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point, is they want you to get out of the map into the abyssal depths. The only thing is, it's not like Alpha. Once you're in the abyssal depths, you lose any chance at farming, you know, like farming div cards, farming anything map specific. So I think they're trying to make it like more worthwhile, so that Abyss is something that you're going to want to do, which is nice because you can do it on any map. It doesn't have to be specific. You can just use whatever cheap red maps you have and then choose them accordingly. The new uniques, let's go! Shroud of Lightness, I'll skip over. Tomb Fist no longer provides 4 to 6% increased max life, and now has 5 to 10% increased attack speed. Can now also roll 2 random modifiers that require a specific abyssal jewel socketed from a pool of 6 modifiers. Do we know what those are? Is it on the Mega Thread?
We don't know yet. But you should look at the Shroud of the Lightless, because this was something that I initially viewed as a nerf, but Coffee correct me very fast.
The Shroud of the Lightless unique body armor no longer has 6 to 10% increased max life, 9 to 15% increased maximum mana, or socketed gems supported by level 25 elemental proliferation. Instead, it now has 3% increased maximum life per Abyss Jewel affecting you. 3% increased max mana per Abyss Jewel affecting you. And penetrate 4% Elirez per Abyss Jewel affecting you. There are also there are also now 2 minus and 3 minus Abyssal Jewel socket. What? Maybe that's a typo. 2 and 3 Abyssal socket variations of Shroud of the Lightless. So, you know how much pen you could get?
Yeah, that's what
14%, or 12%.
Hold on. Let's see if it is a nerf, because how much is level 25 elemental proliferation? How much does it actually give you?
Level 25. Look it up.
Yeah. It's not that much.
Let's see. At
Keep
level
going.
20, it's 28. Oh, here we go. 37% pen for level 25. Which means if you have... See, I don't know. That's kind of tough, though.
But
So
you
would need like
jewels,
9 of those jewels, 9 or 10 of those jewels for it to be better. But that's also a shit ton of max life and max mana. You're making out on the mana and the max life.
And all the bonuses you get from the fucking Abyss Jewels also. They give a fuck ton of flat, remember?
That's true, but how much investment do you have to do to get 10 Abyss Jewels on you? I mean, obviously you've got sockets in the Shroud of the Lightless. If you're using Tomb Fist, which I'd assume you would be,
But
you'd probably just go straight up Abyss. Yeah, that's true. You know, what is it, 2 per cluster?
Or 3.
Or 3? Where are you getting 3?
Voices.
bro.
Ah, if you're using 1 passive voices. Yeah, that's true. Then you would only need 4 1 passive voices. And you could be beating it. Easy game. Yeah, that could be large. And then if you also had 10, that's also 30% increased max life. 30% increased max mana. Like, that alone is pretty large. Light Potion Unique Helmet no longer has recovered 4% of life when you lose a Spirit Charge. It now has a 100% chance to gain a Spirit Charge on kill. And gain 5% of Fizz damage is extra damage of each element per... What?
That's
That's 15.
insane.
That's 15% more damage. for each spiritual. Because
So
it says on
15% of
each
fizz
element.
damage as extra damage of each. So we're talking an actual 45% more damage because it's 15 of each element. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
Excuse
if you have
me?
max charges.
Just put on Shroud of the Lightless and Light Poacher and you're fucking set.
And Tomb Fist. I mean, you might as well take the extra jewel sockets. Oh my god.
Dude,
All right,
I
Coffee.
think-
So you're making an Abyss build, right?
I'm pretty sure that good Abyss jewels are gonna be extremely pricey.
I mean, see, that's the thing with Abyss Jewels is that, like, you can get one that's worth a div and nobody's gonna pay for it. They'll drop a mod and pay 5C for it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You could have a perfect jewel, but if someone's selling it with one mod less for half the price, you're not gonna sell it.
But I mean, you're looking for the jewels that will give you 12 crit multi along with like
Yeah.
40 max life and then 100 flat on top.
Darkness Enthroned can now go up to 100% increased effect of socketed Abyss Jewels.
Yeah.
Yes, but read it. It's a range.
50 to 100, yes. That's huge. I mean, that means you have a 50% chance to drop a better Darkness Enthroned than you would have before.
Could be better,
Bubonic Trail. The Bubonic Trail unique boosts no longer provide 30% increased movement speed, 4 to 6% increased max life, 10% increased damage for each type of Abyss jewel affecting you. Instead, it now has 24 to 32% increased movement speed
Why
while
am I not
affected by a
surprised?
magic Abyss jewel. 40 to 60% reduced duration of elemental ailments on you while affected by a rare Abyss jewel. And 16 to 24% reservation efficiency while affected by a unique Abyss jewel.
Yeah.
So basically, if you have a Watcher's Eye, it's 24% reservation efficiency?
That's not
space
Abyss
is
jewel,
double.
but yes.
Yeah.
It's not? What is the Watch? Oh, it's a Prismatic. Prismatic.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
A prismatic is an Abyss jewel.
No.
No, a Watcher's Eye is
is
a prismatic.
Oh. Alright. Yeah.
So, those are the new Orbot boots, huh?
Yeah, at least in League. That's by far the best in slot in League, for sure.
Yeah, before all the legacy stuff. Tekrod's Gaze is the only one we haven't read, so we might as well. 40% increased main hand critical strike chance per murderous eye jewel affecting you up to a maximum of 200% critical strike chance. Previously 20 up to a maximum of 100 and 20% to offhand critical strike multiplier per murder. Yo, so get a Tekrod's Gaze, right? Tekrod's Gaze, a bunch of other stuff, and then like a replica Wings of Entropy so you count as dual wielding, where you're getting wombo flat crit for the on and offhand, quote unquote, and then add this on top of that and you're crit capped. Easy.
Pretty much.
Man, Abyss is gonna go crazy. Abyss Scarabs have been reviewed to account for these changes. Here's what they now provide. Oh, they're doing the same thing, aren't they? Here, let's just get straight to the winged. Contain 2 additional abysses. Cause abysses in the area to spawn 50% increased monsters, and abysses in that area do not lead to an abyssal depth to lead. In that area do not lead to an abyssal depth to lead to a Stygian Spire.
It's weird wording.
Yeah. So they're just gonna lead to a Stygian Spire? That is confusing. We'll see how it plays. Atlas changes. Is there anything notable?
Alright.
Oh, these are all the maps they're taking away and all the maps they're adding.
Desert. They're not taking away Cemetery. Lighthouse, Malformation, Marshes Pit, Race Courses, Ramparts, Relics. Part of me was low-key hoping to see Primordial Blocks in there.
So that you could say you have the hideout?
So it gets even rarer.
Yeah.
They're removing Burial Chambers?
Yep.
Ooh, Headhunter's going up. applies to standard as well, right?
Yep.
Start farming. Forking River go Grave Trough and Graveyard. Oh no. Oh no, they're removing Graveyard. Dude, Headhunter is gonna be rare. Oh no, Graveyard is the Patient, isn't it?
But they're adding back Tower. And Tower drops nurse cards.
I don't know if I've actually played Tower. Has it been
Tower's
gone for a
fun.
few leagues?
It was, yeah.
Gotcha. Ivory Temple, Lava Lake, Lookout, Mausoleum. I was getting sick of Lava Lake. I ran so many Lava Lakes, it was ridiculous. Spider Fortress, Spider Lair, cool. So all of the maps that I freaking hate.
But notice what hasn't been changed is your boy Crimson Temple.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, how many Crimson Temples did you run this league?
Oh my, hundreds.
And not get a single card? You might be better off with Tower.
Yeah, thinking about it.
Yeah. Map tiers and locations have been shuffled through the pin locations for the map has not changed. Most maps are now initially found at a different tier. Map bosses are required to defeat upgraded. The Pantheon have changed as a result of these Atlas. Oh no, I was so used to knowing the Atlas bosses for passives for Pantheon. Div cards have found new homes as a result. What? Let's see. Nothing too crazy.
Oh,
I was hoping. Huh?
I see something crazy.
What's that?
Britain.
Oh. Putrid Cloister, Sepulcher, Waste Pool, and Phantasma Gorillas. Fantastic gorilla maps. Oh, but see, these are going to be harder to farm because they're lumping them all in together. So you're going to go to Target Farm Div cards, and it's going to... Okay, so maybe it's not going up in price then. Sephiroth's the Divine Orb one, right? Can now be found in the Residence maps.
Yep.
So, target farming Divine Orbs, easy game. Endgame changes. Adds a new series of profane modifiers that can roll on maps. Imagine you're just rolling a map and one of the mods just says, shit! Logbook, stealth biomes, and heist contracts. These modifiers can cause monsters to deal extra fizz damage as chaos and cause monsters to inflict withered for 2 seconds on hit. They're really, like, etching into withered, huh? Eldritch Ultra modifiers that cause you to have reduced cooldown recovery rate for power charge has been replaced with one that causes you to have reduced critical strike multiplier. There you go. No more breaking your build on Eldritch Altars. Maven Invitation Quantity Atlas Bastard no longer each provide 3% increased quantity of items found in the Maven's Crucible. They now provide final map boss, and each map has 8% increased chance to drop from Maven's Invitation, tier 14+. The number of Crescent Splinters dropped from Maven Invitations has been slightly increased to account for that change. The Harvest Crafting option that applies enchantments to a non-unique map, causing it to consume Sexton charges, has been replaced with an enchantment for non-unique maps to provide a 50% chance to not consume Sexton uses. Replica unique item rewards in Grand Heist no longer have a higher chance than normal to spawn with a higher number of sockets or links. That sucks. But I guess that means 6 linked replicas are going to be worth way more. Divination cards and Voidborn Reliquary changes. Balance of Terror can no longer be obtained from the Voidborn Reliquary. It was enabled by mistake. Oh my god. Hey, how those mirrors feeling?
So, that just means foils. However, there is one person in our guild that was able to get a foil Balance of Terror.
Was it Coffee?
It was Zio.
It was, of course it was.
It was enabled by mistake, and now he has one of the only ones in existence.
Of course he does. The Iron Bard Divination card has been re-enabled and is now called the Rusted Bard. It now awards 4 Tainted Mythic Orbs. Actually, that's kind of good. Passive skill tree mastery changes. Here, give it to us. Accuracy mastery.
Alright, this shit, you better sit down and prepare.
I'm ready.
Because there's some wildness. Alright.
Gain accuracy rating equal to your intelligence. Well, goodbye, high reach truth. Minion accuracy is equal to yours. Was minion accuracy ever an issue?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not super big into minion builds, but even, you know, I never felt like they were missing with the one ranged minion build I had. 50% increase accuracy rating at close range. That's huge for melee builds. 500 to accuracy rating, -2 to accuracy per level. So that's always going to be a gain. That doesn't matter. Are you kidding?
Yep.
Armor masteries. +1 armor per 2 strength. What was that? Gain a portion of your armor as... Oh god. Why am I blanking? We were just talking about this the other day.
Replica Dream Feather.
Replica. Here, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Yeah, 1% increased attack damage for 450 armor. So for 450 armor, you'd need, 900 strength.
Yes, but if you have determination, that gives you a more multiplier on your armor. So if you're strength stacking determination,
that's large. +1 to all maximum resistances if equipped helmet, body armor, gloves, and boots all have armor. That's kind of large because you're usually not going hybrids if you can avoid it. 20% increased armor per second you've been stationary, up to a maximum of 100%. 100% increased armor from... Oh.
Yeah.
Getting armor capped is no longer going to be an issue. Let's go. Me and my 70, or what was it, or 88% armor?
Yep.
Or physical damage reduction? Goodbye. Armor and ES. 2% chance per 5% missing energy shield to defend with 150% armor. So if you have 100%, if your energy shield is gone, it's 40% chance to defend with 150% of armor?
Yep.
Am I doing that math right?
Basically, the less ES you have, the more armor you are preventing hits with.
That's kind of wumbo. Recover 5% of energy field over 1 second when you take physical damage from an enemy hit.
That
Excuse me? Anytime you take phys damage, recover 5% of ES over 1 second?
Yeah.
Hey, what's your Orbot? What's your current ES?
So you want the old defense bot or the current one? The current Orbot.
Even the current.
The current Orbot is at 7k ES.
You're getting 350 energy shield per second.
Yeah.
That's insane. If they can even manage to hit you, good luck. 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken. What?
Yeah. Oh, it's coming,
Excuse
boys.
me?
It's coming, boys.
Oh my god. 100% increased armor and energy shield from equipped body armor if they all have armor in ES. 10% of physical...
It's
free
coming,
10%
boys.
physical damage reduction if you're CI.
10% physical damage.
Physical damage from hits.
CI.
From physical hits taken.
Yeah.
Which means this is post already your physical damage reduction.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Armor and evasion. Defend with 120% of armor against projectile attacks. 5% chance to more. That's good. That's like ranged build quality of life. Or no, like melee build quality of life. Because if you're just getting pelted with projectile attacks and can't make it up close, like that 120% of armor is going to be huge. And that's constant. There's no requirement. Just 120% of armor. 80% increased stun and block recovery rate. Every 4 seconds, regenerate life equal to 1% of armor and a... Quick maths. Every 4 seconds. So per second, you're regenerating 0.25% of your armor and evasion rating. So these are additive.
Regenerate life equal to 1% of armor and evasion rating. Okay.
So it's additive,
ready?
yeah?
So here, let me do it with so I'll do it with my stats. And remember, this is on a very high-end standard Orbot. I have 136,000 armor. Times 0.01. That's 1,300 life.
1,300.
And then 104,000 evasion rating. 1,000.
So
That's
you're
2,400 regen for 1 second every 4 seconds.
what's that number again?
2,500.
So you're essentially gaining 625 life per second constantly.
Yes, insane.
Oh my god. Who approved this at GG? Who over here was like, who over at GGG was like, this is a great idea. 40% increased evasion rating if you've been hit recently, 40% increased armor if you haven't been hit recently. Yeah, that's whatever. Immune to poison if equipped helmet has higher evasion rating than armor. Immune to bleeding if equipped helmet has higher armor than a free bleed or poison immune right there. Let's go. Go with the Slayer, get the immune to bleeding while leeching, and then just take the immune to poison because you're gonna have higher evasion rating. Oh no, you probably have higher armor in that case.
These are so cool.
Attack masteries. Non-Vol strike skills. Target one additional nearby enemy. Good for Vol Lightning Arrow. Good for Vol Ice Shot. Gain adrenaline for 1 second when you change stance.
Yeah.
See-
Go ahead and look up what adrenaline does.
That's interesting. How much? 100% increased damage, 25% increased attack and cast speed and movement speed, and 10% additional physical damage reduction.
And that
So blood and
second,
sand and just spam the button?
but that 1 second can be increased by skill effect duration on tree.
Can it be?
Yep. Or buff duration, or anything that's increased duration, you can increase that 1 second.
Okay, and then you can combine this with the tech of aspect of the cat, and using that to generate frenzy and endurance charges.
Or, if you are self-cursing, which is a build, you can self-curse temporal chains and effects last longer on you.
Oh my god. Monsters cannot block your attacks. Kinda busted. 5% increased attack speed per enemy in close range.
There's no cap on that.
There is no cap on that. Nearby enemies are... So when are they dropping it and being like, those patch notes were April Fools, you all fell for it. Nearby enemies are intimidated while you have rage. Already disgusting. Rage is such a broken mechanic to begin with, and now they're going to be intimidated too. Although we're losing the strength stacking. We're losing the strength stacking mastery.
Yep.
That kind of sucks. Caster masteries. I'm not really interested in it, but let's find out. 25% more spell damage if you've been stunned while casting recently. Everyone's going to be stun immune, that's waste. 6% increased cast speed for each different non-instant spell you've cast recently. That's all spells, right?
Each different non-instant, yeah. So it makes... What they're doing is they're trying to make pressing more buttons seem enticing.
Which it does not. They have failed. One button OP. 25% chance to open nearby chests when you cast the spell.
Now,
Who's
that
Vault of Itsiri? I mean, good, sure.
that one line right there is probably the most busted mastery in the whole patch notes.
Are you kidding me? How?
That's pretty much open all chests in the map, every map. You know how many things are in chests that we never find?
You think they're secretly buffing loot drops in chests?
No, they're not buffing loot drops, but no one opens chests, and there's stuff in chests. Like, there's famous videos on YouTube of people accidentally opening a chest and a mirror popping out. Like, there's shit in chests.
Yeah, but is it worth a skill point when you can have increased AoE? Or, I mean, I guess there's really not a lot of good ones here. Intensity,
Yes.
maximum number of seals.
There are so many in chess, and there was a Q&A, which you'll get to later, but they asked specifically about this mastery, and they said, does it apply only to chess? And they said it applies to anything that is openable or destroyable. So that's barrels, that's crates.
Barrels, urns, yeah. Vaults of Itsiri, just run in and start shooting. That's such a time saver.
Crazy.
Chaos Masteries. I'm reading the first one. This is already insane. Recover 1% of life per withered debuff on each enemy you kill. I'm pretty sure, like, max viable right now, if you're not doing withered on hit, which you probably will be able to, is like 20 stacks of withered.
15.
That's 15, is it? So 15%
Yep.
of life per enemy you kill.
But ready? Now imagine this. Now imagine you want to do Toxic Rain, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you do Toxic Rain and you have it like Withering Touch support on it. So every time it hits, it applies Withered.
Yeah.
Say there's a group of 10 enemies and one cast of Toxic Rain hits them all 3 times.
Yep.
And then you kill them all. That's 30% life recovered.
Yo, that's crazy. Which will also work with my plan because of all the little gremlins that be spawning around. You know what I mean?
And Recover is not a regen. That's instant.
Oh, but recover is instant?
Yes.
Instant 30% life recovery?
Recover is the wording used on Aegis Aurora, which makes your energy shield come back.
+1 to level of all chaos skill gems. Lose 10% of life and energy shield when you use a chaos skill. I mean, take both of these masteries and that's fine.
That's already been in the game.
Yeah, +1 to maximum chaos res. That's cool. Now you can get +3, I believe. Pretty easy. Deal 10% more chaos damage to enemies that have energy shield.
Which is all enemies, pretty much, in the end game.
And we're ignoring their ES anyways, so that's crazy.
Exactly.
5% chance when you inflict Withered to inflict up to 15 Withered debuffs instead. Are you kidding me?
So the first mastery and the last mastery.
Oh my god.
What's sustainability, my boys? This is it.
Claw Masteries. It's all new. Here we go. Forget Toxic Rain. This is this is the Cobra Lash League. Gain 25 life per enemy hit with main hand claw attack. Gain 25 mana hit per enemy. So there's your entire sustain right there that you'll never need again. Inherent attack speed bonus from dual wielding is doubled while wielding 2 claws. Busted. 60% increased damage with claws against enemies that are on low life. 10% of leech. Huh?
Yeah.
10% of leech is instant per equip. So 20% instant leech?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's no way this actually happens. 50% increased stealth.
This league is going to be crazy.
I thought we just came out of a fun league. I have to make Cobra Lash at some point. I mean,
10%
Chaos and Claws.
Per claw?
Per claw, so 20%.
Vessel of Victor died for this.
Yeah, seriously. 50% increased stealth. What's stealth? New mechanics?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. That is disgusting. But see, that's how they get you, because claws are usually gain on hit. There's a few leech claws out there, though. I'm like speechless. Okay. Cold Masteries. 10% chance to inflict cold exposure on hit. I think that's cool. Enemies near targets you shatter have 20% chance to be covered in frost. Max cold res.
This line right here, the covered in frost,
Mm-hmm.
there has been a mechanic for a long time called covered in ash, and you can only get it by being a chieftain. Chieftains get it automatically with one of their ascendancies, and there's a couple of other items that give it to you, but
yeah.
And what it does is it basically makes the enemy take more fire damage if they're covered in ash. So covered in frost is the same thing. but Covered in Frost only exists on one ring in the game, and it's a trash unique. So now...
I mean, that's good, but I'm thinking in the terms of bossing, when you'd really want additional ailments and stuff like that, you probably won't have the chance to fire that off, and you're going to be killing mobs pretty quick endgame anyways.
Yeah, maybe.
Enemies permanently take 5% increased damage for each second they've been... This is stupid. So up to a maximum for each time they've been frozen, so you're crit capped, you just start spamming, you know, your attack, and all of a sudden they're taking 50% increased damage.
Yep, and if you have Heat Shiver, it's 100% cold as extra fire when they're frozen.
Oh my god. This league is gonna be insane. DPS who? Dagger Mastery is 100% nothing new. Oh, there it is. 50% increased projectile speed while wielding a dagger. Ethereal Knives buff?
Well, you see, cast on crit builds are most well known for using daggers.
At the higher levels, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. They were also doing some other stuff with the projectile speed for the ball skills. Elemental Masteries. This is going to be fun. Reduce it 50% reduced effective exposure on you. Hits have a 25% chance to treat enemy monsters. Oh. As inverted?
Oh.
Omniscience is dead. I'm sorry, but it's dead now.
No, it's not dead. This is before your penetration.
No, it's not. Are you sure? Confirmed?
Yes.
Order of
Yes.
operations, invert the elemental res, and then pen?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So, because you're changing their elemental resistance, you're not affecting your hit. Your hit is penetrating their elemental resistance. So if you're fighting like Eater of Worlds and they have 70% elemental resistance, 25%
negative
is negative 70, and then you penetrate even further.
Yo, I'm just saying, we're going in the back of the Eater of Worlds, and we're coming out the mouth. We're talking pen.
Dude, this is crazy.
That's disgusting. Critical strikes against you do not inherently inflict elemental ailments. That's kind of cool, but you're probably going to be ailment immune somewhere else. 3% chance for hits deal 300% of physical damage as extra damage of a random element.
So 3% chance for triple damage, pretty much.
Yeah, we're gonna have to convert. Convert's gonna be the only way. That's the inverted Ellie res. Holy crap. Alright, so here we go. Toxic Rain, Voltaic Rift conversion to Chaos. Hit them every step of the way. Energy Shield Mastery is 10% less physical damage taken while on full Energy Shield. Not too great. 30% of Chaos damage taken does not... That's quality! Premium!
Yep, that's CI light, so...
It seems like they're trying to add value to non-CI builds, probably because all of the best are CI. And then 100% increase ES from Shield and Helmet. I'm not sure how big that could actually go, but it sounds decent. Sounds decent.
Not from Shield and Helmet.
Oh, increased energy shield from equipped helmet. So from helmet. Okay. Evasion. Nothing new? Oh no. 15% chance to suppress spell damage if equipped helmet, body, armor, and gloves all have evasion rating. Which is, that's going to be good for my lightning arrow, because I'm missing 15% spell suppression, because I'm not doing the big gear swaps that are ridiculous for just 15% spell suppression. So take that mastery, which will also give me 100% increased critical strike chance, which will probably crit cap me as well. Evasion and energy shield masteries, 20% increased maximum energy shield. if both equipped rings have evasion modifiers. 40% increased energy shield recharge rate if equipped amulet has an evasion modifier. That's a lot of ES.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth, do you think it's worth losing a mod slot for evasion?
Potentially, because with that mastery, pretty much the evasion mod turns into 10% increased max ES.
Yeah, that's true, and you still get evasion. 100% increased evasion rating if energy shield recharge is started in the past 2 seconds. 1% increased evasion rating per 5 int. Dexterity provides no inherent to evasion rating. At least it's not taking away the accuracy bonus from Dex, though. So int stacker's getting more broken. Every 4 seconds, regenerate energy shield equal to 1% of evasion rating. Excuse me?
Again?
Again? So you take this and the... which one was it?
The armor and ES one?
Yeah. Of armor and ES, and then of ES. So you take both of those. And we said, what was that? 650 life per second?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Where was this?
It's a lot. It's big.
Here. So that's now 1200 or 1300 life per second. Or life and ES per second. Per second. That's stupid. Oh my god. Fire masteries. Burning enemies you kill have 3% chance to explode. Ah! Free explode! On tree. Let's go!
Yes, sir.
50% chance to refresh ignite duration on critical strikes, so they'll permanently be ignited. But if you're running a dot build, you're probably not trying to hit them constantly. Otherwise, why are you running dot? Regenerate 1 life per second for each 1% uncapped fire res. This is the Empyrean thing you were telling me about?
No.
That would be huge for Project Regen. Critical strikes do not inherently ignite. 100% increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. I mean, you can get 100% chance to ignite somewhere else. That's huge. Double damage. Flask masteries. 25% chance to gain a flash charge when you deal a critical strike. Oh, shit! Easy flask automations. Let's go.
Mage Blood at home?
Might actually make it worth it for regular builds to take flask masteries, which I'm going to be taking anyways, so I'll take it. Enemies you kill that are affected by elemental ailments grant 100% increased flask charges. Recover 4% of life when you use a flask. Any flask?
Yep.
And that's instant?
And it's instant.
I'm going to be unkillable. I am going to actually be unkillable. What the hell? Sustain who? Fortify masteries. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Recover 100 life for each fortification lost. Gain 20 fortification on melee kill against a rare, unique enemy. That's big. 2% reduced duration of ailments inflicted on you per fortification. I think we're at 26 on my Cyclone build. So that's 26 times 2, like 54% reduced duration of ailments.
52, but yeah.
52. 4% increased stun and block recovery before. That's okay. Nothing too nasty there. Impale. 10% chance on hitting an enemy for all impales on that enemy to last for an additional hit. That might not sound it, but that is wumbo.
That is big, yep.
An additional hit on Impale is already, that is half of my DPS on my Cyclone character is the Impale. And then you get the Watcher's Eye, Impale. Here, where's my POB? Path building. We'll open it up, and I'll show you the DPS difference just from my Watcher's Eye of last an additional hit. Tree. So this is 2 million DPS for 2 additional hits. 2.2 million DPS for 2 additional hits. Which means this is like a free million DPS every time it triggers. But it's for all impales. Oh my god. 20% chance on hit to remove all impales from an enemy. Impales removed this way multiply their reflected damage for this hit by the number of hits they have left. So you get that. You get a +2 Watcher's Eye. You got 3 hits left, right? And then you're multiplying it by 3. Is that what it's saying? Is this free 300% increased damage?
So what it's doing is it's front loading your damage. So instead of having to hit them multiple times, you have a 20% chance to just hit them all at once.
That's incredible. I'm honestly gonna play around with my Cyclone Tree afterwards, and I already see it. 10% of leeches in claws, leech nodes, 30% instant leech. 40% increased armor and evasion while leeching. Like, the Impale Mastery and this, like, all of this is real good for the Cyclone build. 40% increased armor and evasion rating while leeching. 25% more damage with hits against enemies that cannot have life leached from them. I guess that's kind of a quality of life thing. 25% of damage taken recouped as life if leech was removed by filling unreserved life recently. What? 25% of damage taken recouped as life if leech was removed by filling unreserved life recently.
So basically,
when the leech instant ends, it's 25% recoup.
Yep.
Who said this was a good idea? That's a lot of recoup. 25% increased maximum total life. Excuse me?
All of them.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So right now you can choose one, right? Now they're just like, you can have all of them.
Yeah, I just take them. So we're trying to make way for more instant leash because we want to nerf 1.0 Victors. Now, see, I wonder if they're doing this because they're going to do a league where they bring back old uniques.
They've already done that.
They might do it again, yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah, so 30% instant leech. Oh my god. So much like this sustain league, damage league, this is everything. 60% increased critical strike chance against enemies with lightning. Free crit cap. Free crit cap. Lightning damage of enemies hitting you while you're shocked is unlucky. Okay, so they added unlucky back into the game, but couldn't give me lucky back. Life mastery, 10% more max life if you have at least 6 life masteries allocated. So if you have all the life masteries, that's kind of hefty for 10%.
It's more. This is a more multiplier to max life.
Oh.
This is the first ever instance of more max life in Path of Exile.
But they got rid of the 50 flat. Oh no, they didn't. It's still there. 15% increased max life if there are no life modifiers on your equipped body armor. Worth it. Worth it. You counted on low life while at 55. Oh yeah, this is what they were talking about in the reveal stream. You can control what's considered full life and low life. Which, that 10% of full life with instant leech, I mean, you're always going to be considered full life. So damage while on full life support is going to actually probably be good again. Skills cost life instead of 30% of mana cost. So you're only taking some of it?
Recently. What this means is if something costs 10 mana, it now costs 7 life. No, 3 life in 7 mana.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. Link masteries, you showed me this. This is disgusting. Where is it? Oh, did they change it?
Yes.
The linked immortality? Damn. That was the update, huh? They're like, no, we can't make people unable to die. One additional random target. Oh, so you can double link now. Links take twice as long to break. That's cool. Link targets share endurance, frenzy, and power charges with you. So, no, I was gonna say,
So you can always link to any number of targets. What that does is makes so you have to cast less times to link to everyone.
Gotcha. Your movement speed is equal to the highest movement speed among linked players. That's crazy.
Bruh, my legacy Abracadaniel's flask with 400% aura effect haste.
Well, your movement speed is equal to, not your linked target's movement speed is equal to.
Oh, that's right. So people linking to me will be Wumbo.
Yeah. If they take this mastery. If not, then when they hit their flask, you become fast. Which I guess makes sense, because if someone hits an Abracadaniel's and you don't have one and they go taking off, the link's gonna break.
Yep.
So you can follow up with that. Regenerate 5 mana per second. That doesn't seem all that good as a mastery. 12% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. Heyo!
That
How do you
is
feel about
very
that?
good. That's very good for the general population.
But you have to take mana nodes to get there, so unless you're mana stacking.
You don't have to be
It's a
mana
waste,
stacking.
right?
You could take mana leech, or you could take like mana gain on hit. Or if you're a
I'll take
spellcaster, there's Arcane Surge, which is a mana stuff.
Alright. You gain 5% increased AoE for each mine.
Oh yeah.
Mines cannot be damaged. I mean, that's already a thing. So you're telling me... Seismic Trap League. Sounds good. Mark Masteries. Potter, hey. Sit. Take away. Marked enemies cannot regenerate life. That's pretty good. Marked enemies cannot deal critical strikes. Your mark transfers to another enemy when the marked enemy dies. There's another source of that somewhere in the game. 50% increased accuracy rating against marked enemies. So they're really helping people out who aren't accuracy capped a lot in this league. Physical masteries, 10% more maximum physical damage attack, or physical attack damage. That's large. Cannot be stunned by hits that deal only physical damage. Hits have 40% chance to ignore enemy monster physical damage reduction. That's large.
Yep.
Plus 6% to damage over time multiplier for bleeding per impale on an enemy. Good for bleed bow, I guess. Poison masteries, here it is. There's only one new one. Enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strikes. Okay, that's alright. That's alright. Protection masteries, previously resistant in ailment masteries. 65% reduced effect of withered on you. Are they gearing this towards PvP?
No, because they added Withered as map mods now, so now enemies can inflict Withered.
Ah, gotcha. Your elemental res cannot be lowered by... Oh?
Yeah.
That's kind of sick. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Damaging ailments cannot be inflicted on you while you already have one. Non-damaging ailments cannot be inflicted on you while you already have one. That's sick.
So what that means is, in instances of poison where they can stack infinitely on you, not anymore, you can only have one on you.
That's really cool. So they didn't add a cap to it, they just added ways to get around it. Is there anything new on this?
Yeah, recovery, the whole thing.
Oh, it's a whole thing?
These are
3%
brand new
chance to
clusters
recover.
on the street.
3% chance to recover all life when you kill an enemy?
Bro.
All life? All of it? The whole thing? Life recoup effects instead occur over 3 seconds, so faster recoup, that's cool. Every 3 seconds, consume a nearby corpse to recover 10% of life. Yo! That might not seem it, but that is huge. Think of all the effects that are like when you consume a corpse, and you used to have to, you know, desecrate. Desecrate, generate corpse, and then use a skill that consumes a corpse, and now it's gonna happen automatically. And you'll just so any sort of channeling skill, cast while channeling, and then desecrate, and you're constantly recovering 10% of life every 3 seconds?
Yep. Or,
Holy crap.
well, yeah, pretty much.
Nearby enemies have 50% reduced life regeneration. I guess that helps for those ones that are hard to kill. Life recovery from regeneration is not applied. Every 4 seconds, recover 1 life for every 0.1 life recovery per second from regen. So
if you're regenerating 1% of life per second, instead you're going to recover 10 life per second.
Oh, I see. So it's flat.
Yeah, turns the percent into flat.
I feel like that's not as good as it sounds. And then regenerate 50 life per second flat. Okay, that's cool.
It's better for people with low general life. If you have high life, percentage is better, but if you have low life,
The flat is better. Yeah. Reservation masteries. +1 to all maximum elemental resistances if you have reserved life and mana. So you're gonna have +1 to all max res?
Nope, I'm not reserving life.
Oh. Not even a 10% little, like, or like a level 1 vitality or something, huh?
Nope, because I'm CI.
Ah, yes, makes sense. Spell suppression masteries. Inflict fire. Hold on. They got rid of it. Oh, they got rid of it. Spell suppression also applies to critical strike chance. They got rid of it. My whole lightning arrow build is back out the window, boys. F. I saw that they all said new, and I was like, wait, no. Inflict fire, cold, and lightning exposures on enemies when you suppress their spell damage. Prevent +1% of flat suppression. Spell damage per hit suppressed recently, -2% chance to suppress spell damage per hit suppressed recently. Suppress spell damage cannot inflict elemental ailments on you. You have phasing if you've suppressed spell damage recently, plus 8% chance to suppress spell damage while phasing. Chance to suppress spell damage is lucky.
So
That's
lucky is huge.
Big L. It is because of the reroll, you know, the roll twice. But losing all of that, all of my crit right now is coming from Hyri's Ire and the suppression mastery, and then the spell suppression I have on tree, which makes that entire tree almost not worth taking. I mean,
But
you
remember
have
all
to have
those
spell
crazy
suppression.
nodes that we just went past? All those crazy like lightning nodes and stuff you can take now that help
Yeah.
your crit?
That's true. That's true. New stun masteries. I don't know if I really care too much about stun, but is anything broken?
So this whole category is kind of weird. They're trying to create build ideas. So it's worth reading over just for that sake, I guess.
Been stunned recently. I mean, again, if you've been stunned, what build feels good when it's not stun immune?
Yeah, they're trying to make it so that being stunned sounds like it could be cool.
Yeah.
Because what I think their end game of PoE is trying to slow down the game. So they're like, oh, maybe it'll make players slow down if it benefits them to be stunned. So then they're not like breezing through maps as fast. But it's like
if you don't have to be stunned, why would you want to?
Right, it's like the Vol Cleave thing. Like, why do I care about stealing mods if I kill them anyways?
Exactly. If they're already dead, I mean, there's no point in slowing down to take the mod. Potter, do you want to go out there? Yeah. BRB, 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Trap masteries. 8% chance for traps to trigger an additional time?
Yeah.
Hold on, so double damage? 8% chance for double damage?
Pretty much.
That's crazy. Two-handed masteries. Ruthless hits intimidate enemies for 4 seconds. I'm pretty sure that was already a thing. Maybe it wasn't on the two-handed, but I remember something like that. Ruthless hits intimidate. Warcry masteries. Let's see it. Warcries cannot exert travel skills. Remove all damaging ailments when you Warcry. That is actually some decent added utility.
That is actually huge, yeah.
Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, I'm poisoned. Cool, Warcry. Warcries have 10% chance to exert 3 additional attacks. Removed masteries.
So these you don't
precision
really...
mana reservation efficiency. I didn't even catch that earlier.
Yep, so all those are gone. The determination.
Oh
one, the
my god, they're getting rid of so much. So much reservation efficiency just to throw 12% back in everybody's face.
Yeah. However, so this is 25% per skill, but they're giving you 12% for all skills, which at the end of the day is better because not all skills were on the tree anyways.
So you need at least 3 auras and then it's worth it.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's easy. Nothing too crazy here. Yeah, the strength stacking mod, RIP to strength stacker, so now you have to get it on gear. Ruthless hits intimidate for 4 seconds. Oh, yeah, here's where it was. Ruthless hits intimidate enemies for 4 seconds. It was an attack mastery, not a two-hander. I knew I saw it somewhere. The int stacking caster mastery? I didn't catch that either. That's gone. Chaos res? I mean, that sucks. That's big chaos res. 20% increased effective withered is gone. They really did rebalance poison pretty well. Because imagine having instant leech and then 0.5% of chaos damage leeches life.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be busted. Enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strikes. Like, stuff like that. Cold masteries. The cold mastery was a very solid rework. I don't think anyone's gonna miss all of these. More maximum physical damage. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, they got rid of the Ellie Res mastery. It seems like they're trying to add value to the protection masteries as well.
Yeah.
Leech, they got rid of ES Leech. So where can you get ES Leech now?
It's on the tree in other places.
Oh.
But it's from spell damage instead of elemental damage.
Ah. So if you're doing elemental attacks,
yeah,
you just gotta take Leech Nodes and go life. I don't know, Storm Drinker. Storm Drinker. Cannot be frozen for the... yeah, that's okay. Oh! Oh! It was Z off, right? That was mana stacking and using 3% of the max mana as extra maximum ES?
Yep, but he's also using Legacy Watcher's Eye that has 18% of mana as extra ES, so he doesn't really
Oh, so this is barely a hit. Is Draco using this?
Unlikely. He's also using the Legacy Watcher's Eye.
Gotcha. 25%, 30% of chaos damage taken does not bypass ES. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Fire masteries. All the attribute stacking mods from the masteries are gone. Get it on gear, I guess. Dread banner. Okay, because there's literally free banner skills in Ascendancies. Losing 30% increased damage while leeching, but gaining instant leech. I'll take that trade-off any day. Like, that was one of those masteries where, like, I had to take the leech notes, and then I was at the mastery, and I was like, well, what else can I get here? And I just went for the 30% because there really was none that were good that would benefit me because I was already at my leech cap. Non-projectile chaining. Lightning skills chain +1 times. This was a lightning mastery?
Yep.
One lightning damage with non-critical strikes because nobody wants to be dealing non-critical. Yeah, they got rid of this 10%, but they added in 15%, so that's good. That 1 and 5% increased effective your marks is actually larger than it seems. That's like a million DPS for that info. Stupid dogs, you made me ooga booga.
Made me ooga booga.
Skitterbots, War Banner stuff. Increased poison duration they took out. I wonder why. Maybe just to make space, right? Damn, so Ellie Res on Tree is going to be a lot harder to get. They're getting rid of it in a lot of places.
Yeah.
From both the Ellie Mastery and the Protection Mastery. Which means you're going to have to take small nodes for it if you need to cap it if you can't get it on gear. So gear rolls are going to be even more important. Yeah, critical strike chance is increased by chance to suppress spell damage. That's the utility. Heyo! What's going on? Skitterbots, Exerted, and then Warcry Masteries. Passive skill tree cluster changes. While looking at Masteries, we noticed that there were some mechanics that didn't have enough passive tree support, so we decided to add more options and passive skill choices for those mechanics. We also wanted to grant more access to certain types of Masteries in specific parts of the passive skill tree. For example, in order to allow more access to the Attack Mastery, we've added an Attack cluster by the Templar and one by the Ranger and Shadow. That's helpful. We wanted to create more access to other forms of recovery, such as regen and recoup, so we've added some new passive skill clusters. These are the clusters we already read about. You just woke up? How long did you sleep? You actually got a decent night's sleep. Good. Good. You needed it. 3 new stun clusters. Tweak some existing ones to provide more ways to build upon stun other than... Nobody likes stun. Stop. Stop with the stun. Attack clusters. A new Righteous Fury cluster has been added to the southwest of the Templar's starting location. A Righteous Fury grants 10% chance to create Consecrated Garand on melee kill. 40% increased melee damage with hits at close range. Powerful Bond cluster has moved location on the passive tree to make space for this new Righteous Fury cluster. A new multi-shot cluster has been added to the northeast of the Ranger starting location. Multi-shot grants attacks, fire, and additional projectile on tree?
On tree, boys.
Yo! Yo!
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so Death's Harp. Additional projectile on tree. 2 additional projectiles on Crucible tree. That's disgusting.
Additional projectile corrupt.
That's 6 additional projectiles. Additional projectile on Quiver.
Yep.
7 additional projectiles. Am I missing somewhere? Other than synth implicits?
GMP plus 5.
12 additional projectiles. Oh my god, this is Bow League. It's a Bow League all the way. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Careful Conservationist cluster has slightly moved location on the passive tree to make space for the new multi-shot cluster. Bow clusters. The Master Fletcher notable skill no longer provides 15% increased attack speed with bows. RIP! 20% increased accuracy rating with bows, or 20% increased projectile speed. It now has bow attacks, fire, in addition to arrow. I mean, dub. 15% increased attack speed or an additional arrow? I'll take an additional projectile, sure.
Yeah.
All that and then nimmies? Like, who cares? 15% attack speed, who? 3 small passive skills prior no longer each provide 10% increased damage with bow skills, 4% increased attack speed with bows, or 10% increased damage over time with bow skills. That mod sucked anyways. Instead, they now each provide 5% increased attack speed with bows. Love it. Great quality of life. The entry small passive skill for the Master Fletcher cluster no longer provides 6% increased accuracy rating with bows. Now provides 12% increased damage with bows, previously 10% and 12% increased damage over time with bow skills. Cold cluster. Has been added to the northeast of the Witches. The Witch's Embrace provides 60% increased freeze duration on enemies and 30% increased damage if you've shattered an enemy recently. Oh, that's alright. Enemies permanently take 1% increased damage for each second they've been... Whoa! 10% increased damage?
Yep.
Is it more? Is it more? It says increase, though.
Yep. Whenever enemies take damage, it's always more.
Okay. Small entry passive skill in Season of the Ice Cluster. Or Season... Yes. In Season of Ice Cluster now provides plus 4% to cold damage over time. Previously 5% small passive prior to season. So they were. What is the ability everyone was using in hardcore solo self-found for Cold Dot?
I don't remember.
It seems like that's what they're trying to nerf. We've also added a third small passive skill to the Season of Ice cluster, which provides 20% increased effective chill. Nice. The Breath of Rime notable passive skill no longer has 50% increased effective cold elements. Instead, it now has 50% increased duration of cold elements. The two small passive skills in the Breach of Rime cluster that provide cold damage over time must now have values of +5, so they're nerfing Cold Dot. Fingers of Frost notable passive skills no longer provides 30% increased duration of cold elements or 30% increased effective cold elements. It now has enemies become chilled as they unfreeze, causing 30% reduced action speed. That's huge L. Fortify cluster. 40% increased attack damage with skills while you have at least 20 fortification is now gone, which is part of the reason we did our tree the way we did for our Cyclone builds. That's interesting. The two small passive skills in the Rampart cluster that provide 14% and 16% increased damage with attack skills while fortified, both now instead provide melee hits which stun have a 10% chance to fortify. That sucks. Steadfast notable passive skill now provides +3 to maximum fortification. Previously 4. It also now has regenerate 0.1% of life per second per fortification. So if you can get up to 30, I guess that's 3%. 3% of life per second. That's not even that good. They should up that to just 1%. Imagine regen 30% of life per second. Entry small passive skill in Steadfast cluster no longer provides fortifying hits, grant 30% increased fortification, instead provides +1 to maximum fortification. That's good. Link clusters. Empower bones +2 to level of all skill gems. Zealous Oath has moved locations on the tree to make space for the new... I feel like that's gonna be large. Moving Zealot's Oath? Or are they just like slightly moving it?
They're slightly moving it. It's over to the left 1 travel point.
Gotcha. It is now...
The new tree is already out, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's in Path of Building as well, or has nobody made an update yet?
It is in POB. You have to update it when you open it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a look at that later today. Inspiring Bonds has been renamed to Potent Connections. It no longer provides 10% reduced mana cost of link skills or causes your link targets to deal 30% increased damage. Instead, it now provides 25% increased defenses while you have at least 4 link targets. That's large. And 10% increased movement speed while you have at least 2 link targets. The small passive skill prior no longer grants... The small passive skill prior no longer grants. Link skills have 10% increased cast speed. A new Inspiring Bond cluster has been added to the west of the Scion starting location. The new Inspiring Bond provides 10% chance for Energy Shield recharge to start when you link to a target, and link skills have 20% increased buff effect if you have linked to a target recently. The Powerful Bond notable passive skill no longer provides link skills have 20% increased buff effect or link skills have 10% increased skill effect duration. Instead now provides curses are inflicted on you instead of linked targets. That's large. Curse immunity, hit the link, and now your entire party is curse immune?
Yep.
And 20% increased buff effect of your link skills, for which 50% of link duration has expired. So when it's half over, it's 20% better? Okay. The 2 small passive skills in this cluster now both provide, link skills have 50... they got rid of that. I don't know, they did add that. Curses are inflicted on you instead of link targets. Link skills have 15% increased skill effect duration. Previously 10. The small passive skill prior to Powerful Bonds no longer provides link skills have 10% increased cast speed. Mark clusters. Let's see if they fumbled the bag on marks. A new Relentless Pursuit cluster has been added to the southeast. There's only 2 mark clusters on the tree before previously, by the way. Have been added to the southeast of the ranger starting location. Relentless Pursuit grants 10% increased attack speed if you've cast a mark spell recently, which everyone's doing mark on hit, so that's not going to be great. And 10% increased movement speed if you've cast a mark spell recently. A new Expert Hunter cluster has been added to the southeast of the ranger starting location. Expert Hunter grants 20% increased effect of your mark. So we're losing 25%, but we're gaining 20 right here, so that's still 90% you can get max for increased mark effect. 75% on Ascendancy, and then 20% on Tree, it looks like. The Mark the Prey cluster has been moved to the location of Arcing Blows clusters. Mark the Prey no longer provides marked enemies grant 30% increased flash charges to you. Instead, it now provides marked enemy has 10% reduced accuracy rating. The 3 small passive skills prior have been replaced with 2 that each provide 20% increased damage with hits and ailments against marked enemy. So that 10% reduced accuracy rating is actually slightly larger if you're looking at the entropy calculation for evasion. So if you're evasion based and you can get them to have 10% reduced accuracy rating, it's actually multiplicative. You're going to end up taking a lot less hits than just 10% less hits.
Yep.
The Arcing Blow cluster is a move location in the passive tree. It now resides above the Ghost Dance Keystone. Oh, so it's up there. That's nice, because I don't have to path down to the bottom of the tree to get it anymore. The 2 small passive skills prior to Marked for Death no longer provide 20% increased damage with hits and ailments against marked enemies, F, for 10% increased effect of your marks. Instead, okay, so we're down to 85, or no, 80%. No, because 75 and 25. 95, 85, yeah, 85% increased effective marks is the cap now. Instead, they now provide marked enemy grants 20% increased flash charges to you. So it looks like now the cap is 85% increased effect of your marks. I guess that's not too bad a hit, 15%. But that 15% can be large depending on how much you rely on your marks. The small passive skill in the Adder's Touch cluster that provides dagger, critical strike, multi, and poison duration now provides 5% increased poison duration, previously 10, so it's getting nerfed. The small passive skill in the, in the Fatal Toxins cluster that provides poison chance and duration now provides 5% increased poison duration, previously 10, also a nerf. 2 small passive skills in front of Swift Venom's cluster that provide attack speed and poison duration now provide 5%, previously 10 for poison duration. Recovery clusters is going to be large. A new Surge of Vigor cluster has been added to the northwest of the Templar starting location. Surge of Vigor provides every 4 seconds regenerate 15% of life over 1 second. That's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
It's almost as dumb as free 30% instant leech, but okay, sure. A new Brink of Death cluster has been added to the southwest of the Duelist starting location. Southwest, so bottom left of the tree. Brink of Death provides regenerate 4% of life per second while on low life. Add that with the mastery that makes low life 55%, and you're just regenerating 4% of life every time someone hits you for big.
With
Or,
Petrified Blood.
I was just about to say, Petrified Blood, Instant Leech, and then that. Unkillable. I mean, Instant Leech already unkillable. F. Dude, who needs regeneration? Who needs recovery? Instant Leech. 30%? They're gonna get rid of that next league. There's no way it stays around. A new Circle of Life cluster has been added to the east of the Shadows starting location. Circle of Life provides gain 10 life per enemy hit with attacks. Life gain on hit is back on the tree. Let's go. I think the other one was, what, 1 life per enemy hit? Or 2 life per enemy hit or something like that? Or maybe it was 4, but it was less than 5.
Yeah.
That's large. A new Excess Sustenance cluster. Excess Sustenance, yes. Has been added to the northeast region of the Rangers starting location. Excess Sustenance provides 15% chance to gain 2... Huh? 15% chance to gain 200 life on hit.
What is sustain, boys?
Yo, are they trying to just not make any player die ever again? Were they like, the game's too hard, let's put it on easy mode? So, 10 attacks per second. You are guaranteed 200 life, and you're more likely to hit 200 life twice. So for an average of 350 life gain on hit per second.
So, if we're looking at this in layman's terms, if you have 4k life, which is on the high end of endgame, because a lot of people play squishy builds, but if you have 4k life, which is like pretty average, then you are getting 5% life recovery on hit with a 15% chance.
I mean, and like I said, at 10 attacks per second, that's a guarantee.
Yeah, it's 5% life on hit. That's crazy.
That's stupid. What? Who's over here at GGG just throwing out dubs for free? Like, I'll take them, sure. The Master Sapper cluster has moved location on the passive tree to make space for this new Excess Sustenance. Yes, give me the Excess Sustenance. The Taste for Blood notable passive skill no longer provides gain 10 life. Oh, it was 10 life. Okay. Now grants 0.6% of attack damage leached his life. Aha! And 20% increased maximum. So that effectively turns that life and mana node into a leech cluster, in a way. The small passive skill prior now provides 0.4% of attack damage leached his life. Previously gained 5 life per enemy hit. Yeah. That's a nice little update because nobody's going to want it anymore.
Yep.
The Devotion notable passive skill no longer provides 5% increased effective non-curse auras from your skills. It instead now provides 25% increased effective consecrated ground you create. That's a weird sideways step.
Let me see where that is. Devotion? I don't even know what that is.
Devotion.
Is that on the left side of the tree, I think? Devotion. It is, yep. Yep. Interesting. So it comes with 10% increased max life.
Oh, okay. So that's max life and regen, so more sustain. That's what they're going for. More sustain, as if that's what we needed after all of that, after instant leech and 200 life gain on hit and some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what this game needs? More sustain. Oh yeah, someone just submitted a request for more sustain. No. More sustain. Stance clusters. A new Dance of Blades cluster has been added to the southeast of the Duelist starting location. Dance of Blades grants you have Onslaught if you've changed stances recently. Stances, I feel like, are going to make a comeback. You're going to start seeing more Gladiators with Blood and Sand and Challenger charges. But, I mean, to be fair, look at the amount of builds that actually use Challenger charges, and it's probably, like, none.
Yeah, they're trying to make buttons attractive.
That they are. Blood and Sand, Challenger charges, and what was the other effect you got if you've changed stance? It was probably
Adrenaline.
Sustain. Adrenaline. So Adrenaline and Onslaught for pushing a button.
Yep.
And then you're gaining Challenger charges as well. A Duelist stance build is going to be kind of large.
And you can press the button as many times as you want.
Exactly, yeah. Additional flasks, you know?
Yep.
For Onslaught and Adrenaline. That's crazy. Stun Avoidance Cluster. Is there anything in here worth reading? The small passive skills at the entrance of the Tolerance Cluster no longer provides 10% chance to avoid being stunned. Instead, it now provides +7 to Chaos Res. That's okay. Now provides +13. Okay, so Stun Avoidance is going to be linked to Chaos Res, I guess. But Immune to Stun is just so easy to get. Why would you want to take 20 additional points?
Yep, it's so easy to get.
That's tough. But then also Chaos Res. Because they're taking Chaos Res away from the Chaos Cluster, which is ridiculous, but I guess makes sense now.
Yeah.
Regenerate 5% of life over 1 second when stunned. Or, I could kill them, not be stunned, and then not take damage.
Yep.
That means Cluster Conjured Barrier Cluster. The one with Evil notable passive skill and the 2 small passives prior have been removed. One with Evil is gone. No more Chaos Res cluster on tree. F. Goodbye. Stunning hits. Quality on the Divergent cast when stunned support. That's their game, huh? Cast when stunned? But then you have to have low enough armor that you're actually going to be getting stunned. Which means you're probably dying. Which is probably why they're putting so much sustain in the game, just to make stun viable. Like,
Yep.
that seems like a lot of excessive work to make people want to be stunned. Warcry clusters... provides 10% increased melee damage for each second you've been affected by a Warcry buff, up to a maximum of 60%. Are you kidding? 60% additional damage, melee damage, just for hitting a Warcry?
More flasks.
Natural Authority. More flasks, yeah. I mean, Enduring Cry is like a melee staple unless you're generating them some other way, but there's not so many ways to generate them on melee. There really is not much of a generate on hit. There's generate on kill from Disciple of the Slaughter. Oh, no, that's Disciple of the Unyielding. Disciple of the Slaughter's Frenzy charges. So people are using war cries all the time for that, so this is nice. More people will be attracted to that. 20% increased war buff effect, previously 30, and causes enemies taunted by your war cries to take 8% increased damage. Ooh. 8% more damage. Emotional damage. 10% increased war buff, 15% increased war cry duration. We've also added 2 small between short authority, 50% increased war down, cooldown recovery rate, and 15% increased AoE. The increased AoE on war cries is overdue, because there's nothing worse than, I mean, it gauges power around you for enduring cry, and there's nothing worse than when you go to hit it and the boss is just slightly out of range and now it's on cooldown and you have no endurance charges.
Yep.
So, nice. Instead, it now provides 15% increased damage for each time you've war cried recently. Add this to war cries have no cooldowns and just boom, 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 unlimited damage. War cries are instant plus 15% increased damage for each time you've war cried recently. That's stupid. They don't understand what they've just done. Emotional damage. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. 3 small passive skills and the deep breath cluster now 15% increase. So, are they getting rid of war cries are instant? Because I'm seeing they've added like increased war cry cooldown recovery rate in a lot of places, but they're not saying they got rid of instant war cries.
Isn't instant only on an ascendancy?
No, it's on tree.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a keystone on the bottom middle. No, it's somewhere in the duelist area. I want to say it's near the bottom, slightly over to the left, maybe upper row. Ascendancy changes. Oh, here we go. The Saboteur. Okay, I'm more excited for the other one, but it's fine. Saboteur is definitely an ascendancy most aligned with traps and mines, but the previous version of the Saboteur made it difficult to play anything but traps or mines. The new version has more builds available, including a whole new specialization, triggers. Oh, so Saboteur cast when stunned. I see the vision. I see them putting it together. Someone at GGG is like, I really wish I could make this a build. And then they overhauled the entire game to make it happen. So, like clockwork, grants you increased cooldown recovery rate. We saw that. That's 30% increased CDR. That's great. While Perfect Crime summons 2 trigger bots, which override the location of where a triggered spell is being cast, and instead causes it to trigger twice, one from each of their locations. I'm assuming that's going to work like skitter bots, where they're just going to auto-target an enemy.
So they're gonna trigger on wherever the trigger bots are. So they look like skitter bots.
Yeah, but do we know if they're gonna crawl up to enemies, like just targeting the nearest enemy like skitter bots do? Or is it gonna be based off cursor position, I wonder?
Yeah, that I don't know.
The layout for Saboteur's trap and mine ascendancy passes has changed, so there aren't separate 4-pointers for traps and mines. Now each has a 2-pointer that is connected with the same shared 4-pointer. That's confusing, but here's the list. A new Like Clockwork notable has been added to provide 30% increased cooldown recovery rate, and nearby enemies have 10% reduced cooldown recovery rate. Imagine in PvP, you're going up against a cast-on crit build, and you brick their build with 1 notable.
Yep.
I know PvP is not like the way everybody plays the game, but that would be the ultimate memes. Haha, your build no work. The small passive prior provides 4% increased movement speed. Or submitting something like that into the Hollow Grandmasters, so anybody who's trying to run it with cast-on crit is just screwed. 4% increased movement speed and 8% increased AoE. That's kind of cool. Increased AoE as well. That's definitely geared towards cast-on crit. No longer provides you gain 5% increased area of effect for each mine, 25% increased mine throwing speed if you detonated mines recently, or mines have 25% increased detonation speed. Instead, it now provides hits have 20% chance to deal 50% more area damage, large, 20% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits, large, goodbye Eater Slam. The small passive prior no longer provides 10% increased trap and mine damage or 5% increased mine throwing speed. It now provides 8% increased AoE and 10% increased area damage. I finally found of the book I was trying to remember on stream. Timothy by Mark Tufo. Send that to me. Send that to me so I don't forget it, because once I stop going live, the chat will clear and then I will lose it permanently.
Dude, that notable right there, the 20% chance to deal 50%. 50% more area damage?
Yeah.
What?
With how many times? What's the current trigger cap? 15 or no? It's 10 caps per second, right?
No, that's just anything. Anything you can put that on. Hits have 20% chance. If you had lightning arrow, you have 20% chance to deal 50% more damage.
More damage. We love it. Demolition specialist now causes mines to hinder enemies near them for 2 seconds while they land, reducing movement speed by 30%. No longer requires light clockwork. The small passive prior no longer provides 10% increased trap and mine damage. See, I said guac and now I'm hungry. Pyromaniac now requires Demolition Specialist or Chain Reaction. The small passive after Demolition Specialist... Oh, scroll down too far. Oh, provides 8% increased area of effect and 5% increased mine throwing and trap speed. The small passive after Chain Reaction provides 8% increased area of effect and 5% increased trap throwing speed. Perfect Crime no longer grants you gain 10% increased damage for each trap, 25% chance for traps to trigger an additional time, or 25% reduced cost of skills that throw traps. Instead, it now triggers level 20 summon trigger bots. Interesting. I'm trying to think why you would want that as an ascendancy skill.
Level 20 summon trigger bots?
On a trap build?
Yeah, because traps are triggered when enemies step on them.
Wait, so if you have trigger bots and you're standing far away from a boss and you're just throwing mines at your own feet, they'll detonate on the boss?
No, they detonate on the trigger bots.
Which will probably be around the boss.
Maybe. I don't know
We're gonna
how
have
it
to see how
works
that works. Gawk work? Nah, that's my side job.
yet. Gluck
Glock
work.
Glock work. Where were we? Oh, here. Allocated and provides 35% less damage with triggered spells, also an L. The small passive prior no longer provides 10% increased trap and mine damage or 5% increased trap throwing speed. It now provides 4% increased movement speed and 8% increased AoE.
But
so
it's
very
not
large AoE damage on this. Yeah,
it's not an L because it summons 2 trigger bots. So whenever you
so
trigger,
it's double
trigger
damage
twice with 35% less damage each. So it's still
30% increased damage.
Yeah.
Okay. Chain Reaction no longer provides 50% increased cooldown recovery rate for throwing traps, no longer requires Perfect Crime. The small passive prior no longer provides 10% increased trap and mine damage. Instead, it now provides 8% increased area of effect. So this is the AoE. This is the AoE. Saboteur's AoE now.
Oh yeah, huge.
The small passive prior to Born in the Shadows no longer provides 10% increased trap and mine damage or 4% increased movement speed. Instead, it now provides 8% increased area of effect and 15% increased blind effect. One thing I want to see. We didn't lose increased critical strike chance against blinded enemies.
I don't think so.
So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Unless
Pathfinder.
it's in the masteries.
I didn't see it in there. I didn't see blind masteries touched at all, which is good because they're all right. Blind's not utilized too much, but it do be good. Pathfinder. This is what I'm excited for. This is what I'm going to be running Nest League ideally. The Pathfinder has been overdue for some attention, especially with recent features such as concoction skills. Oh, I almost wonder if I could do a poisonous concoction build for what I'm trying to, for the content I'm trying to run.
It's really powerful.
Get the ability to specialize in. We also wanted the flask-themed Ascendancy to have a proactive way of improving life flask usage. Master Distiller is a new notable which allows you to turn most of your skills into concoction-like abilities, while the new version of Master Surgeon effectively gives all of your flasks the enduring effect previously only found on mana flasks. That's sick. In addition, both major flask-themed branches now have some form of flask charge recovery. Here's a list of the full changes. Nature's Reprisal no longer grants 40% of fizz damage converted to chaos. 15% more chaos damage with attack skills, or chaos skills have 30% increased area of effect. It instead now grants 25% chance to inflict Withered on hit for 2 seconds and 50% increased effect of Withered. That's a no-brainer. Nature's Adrenaline no longer grants 15% increased movement speed during Flask effect or 20% increased attack speed during Flask effect. Instead, it now causes Flask to gain 3 charges every 3 seconds. That's solid. Master Surgeon no longer grants removes bleeding when you use a flask, removes corrupted blood when you use a flask, gain a flash charge when you deal a critical strike, or recover 6% of life when you use a flask. Instead, it now grants life flasks are not removed when unreserved life is filled. Interesting. With all the forms of sustain, I feel like that's kind of a nerf. Life flasks do not Q? What? Life flasks do not Q? What is Q?
I think it means if you had multiple life flasks and you used one after the next, it wouldn't use the next one until the previous effect worn off.
Oh, I see. It's the first time I've heard that. And 50% less life recovery from flasks. Yeah, that Master Surgeon feels like a nerf, but the rest seems pretty good. Nature's Boon no longer causes flasks to gain 3 charges every 3 seconds because they compounded it into the other one. We're not losing it. And no longer grants 20% chance for flasks used to not consume charges. Instead, it now causes magic utility flasks applied to you to have 30% increased effect.
Nani?
You told me that, and a 70% increased effect enchant is now 100% increased effect of flasks.
And 25% increased effect explicit.
Well, don't you have to have a rare flask for that?
No. Flasks only go to magic.
Oh. 125% increase, or 135% flask effect? That's disgusting.
125, yeah.
Who needs Mage Blood? Applied to you, so this will work with Mage Blood too. Master Alchemist no longer causes magic utility flasks to have 20% increased effect because they compounded it. Again, they're moving up. Instead, it now provides 50% chance for flasks used to not consume charges. So they split this into Master Alchemist and Nature's Reprisal from Nature's Boon. And then they added the 30% increased effect as a mastery of its own, which I feel like is better because you can kind of pick and choose what you want, what you need. Veteran Booyah has been replaced by a new notable, Master Distiller. Grant bonuses to non-channeling skills you use by consuming 3 charges from a flask of each of the following types, if possible. That's a unique mechanic. If Diamond Flask charges are consumed, 150% increased critical strike chance.
Huh?
If Bismuth Flasks are consumed, penetrate 20% elemental resistance. And if Amethyst Flask charges are consumed, 25% of Fizz so there's where we're getting our conversion back. We were losing it up top, and it was only 15% more chaos damage? No, where was it? 40% of Fizz converted to chaos, and then 15% more. So we're losing a little bit of chaos damage, but we're gaining 25% of Fizz and extra chaos damage. Extra chaos damage, not converted.
Dude, you know what that means, right?
What?
That means that the Veteran Booyah Flame and Flesh Jewels are going to be so expensive.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
That, like, a Deadeye can now allocate Veteran Booyah and get all those bonuses.
The Diamond Flask you're already using. Bismuth Flask you're probably not, but for 20% more pen. Alright, so we're about to invert bosses to have negative 70% res. Penetrate an additional 20% res. On top of my literal already 100% penetration. They are going to be taking 200% more elemental damage.
Which is the cap, by the way. You can't reduce them more than 200%.
Well, I'm at 190, so...
Yeah.
That just made the cap for Omniscience easy. So this balances out the nerf from last league. Or 2 leagues ago? Has Coffee realized that yet? Is Coffee still here?
No, he left. But yeah, these are all insane changes.
Oh my god. The Ascendant. Okay, let's see what they got. Obviously, they're the Ascendant, for those who don't know PoE, is kind of a mix of all the classes. You get to pick and choose kind of watered down abilities they have. So since they changed to Ascendancies, the Ascendant is going to be changing as well. The Ascendant's Pathfinder and Saboteur Ascendancy passive skills have been changed as a result of these reworks. The Pathfinder notable passive skill no longer provides recover 4% of life when used with Flask, and now provides 25% for Flask use, not consume charges. It also now provides remove bleeding when you use a Flask. Okay. So, Pathfinder lost remove bleeding, but Ascendant got it. Interesting. The Saboteur notable passive skill no longer provides regenerate 2% of life per second for each mine detonated recently, regenerate 2% of life for each trap triggered recently, up to 10% per second, or damage penetrates 8% of elemental res. Instead, now provides 15% cooldown recovery rate, and oh my god, Ascendant cast on crit, easy.
It's Wumbo.
Oh my god.
It's Wumbo.
That's huge. So, I mean, they're not giving you the full 30% though. Which means if you really want to push the limits of cast on crit, you're gonna have to go Saboteur.
Yeah, I mean...
But what did they say in Guild the other day? Was the threshold 125?
It's 128.
128. 128% cooldown recovery rate, yeah. I mean, with the 30... I don't know. Okay, I want to see Empyrean do a cooldown recovery rate build.
I'm going to do the quick math right now of... Here, pull up the calculator. Real quick. Of all the big sources that people already use.
Okay.
Alright, so 30% from Notable. 20% from Elevated Boots. 20% from Belt. We'll say 28% from the gem.
Okay.
What do you add?
98. You need 30% more.
Yeah, that's where we're at with all the easiest ways. All the other ways are like 2 to 3% per method, which is like Jewel implicits.
And so you would need literally 10 of them.
Yeah.
Getting close though. Imagine the day. They're gonna see people getting excited. I'm calling it now. GG's gonna see people getting excited about being this close to the cast on crit threshold. And then they're gonna come out with like a unique ring or something that's just cooldown recovery rate.
And it already could, because there's still like a bunch of uniques they haven't talked about yet.
That's true. Mana Forge Arrow support is now offered. By the way, I did look down. Remember I was saying they nerfed Asylum into the ground? It now grants level 30 instead of level 20 snipe skill. I'm not sure how big that's going to be, because you're also getting 40% less damage, was it? Or 30% less damage from the Asylum?
Oh, I'm not sure.
So that damage reduction might not account for having a level 21 gem instead of the helmet, but...
And I think all these gems you already looked at with, you were on the Reddit post.
Yeah. I just saw the unique here. Snipe is now offered to the Ranger for completing Breaking the Ceiling, can be purchased from Terrius. This is just where to get them. Skill balances.
This is where it gets juicy. Skill balance, boys?
Deal 40% less damage to surrounding targets, previously 50%. So they're also adding more melee splash. Awakened melee splash, 39% instead of 40. They 1%? Really? Okay. Blight now has a base duration of 2 seconds at all gem levels. Explosive Trap now causes 3 smaller explosions at gem level 1. So they are starting to hit them. Shattering Steel, 5 to 7 attack, previously 8 to 12, also a nerf. Splitting Steel, 70% effectiveness of added damage, previously 100. A lot of nerfs! Base projectile speed of Spark has been reduced by 25%. And it now fires 3 additional projectiles? Oh, previously 4. Okay, I almost had a panic attack. I was like, you are not giving them 3 more projectiles. CPUs are not going to handle it. We're not dealing with it. And 7 at... Okay, so it caps out the same, but with less projectile speed. From hitting the same target again after it's been reduced from 300. So, Spectral Throw, getting better. Lightning Tendrils is previously 1 to 4, and it's 1 to 6 now. It's getting a buff there. Has 130% effectiveness of added damage, previously 100. So, Lightning Tendrils getting better. Lightning Tendrils is a spell, yeah? Quality on Phantasmal Lightning Tendrils now provides deal 0 to 30% less damage. Previously 0 to 15. And Stronger Pulses deal 0 to 150% more damage. Oh, no, that's enough. It used to be 250. I was like, holy crap. There's so many skills in this game, it's ridiculous. There's literally hundreds of skills you can use in this game. It's kind of ridiculous. Poisonous Concoction now consumes 1 charge per projectile fired from 1 life flask. If possible, instead of 2 charges from 1 life flask, it now provides added chaos damage equal to 3% of flask recovery amount if charges were consumed from a life flask at gem level 1, scaling up to 11% at gem level 20, so Poisonous Concoction is actually getting a very minor buff. Onslaught support. Oh, they made it this whole thing. In an effort to make a wider variety of builds competitive for leveling, we initially considered broadening the use cases for Onslaught support in order to allow more builds to use it. This would result in Onslaught becoming a mandatory link for almost every build to level faster. This would still mean that few remaining builds that could not make use of Onslaught support would be at a speed disadvantage in the early game. This eventually led to the conclusion that the removal of the support gem and the addition of a number of new support gems... There's no more? Onslaught support has been removed?
Onslaught support is now legacy.
Whoa.
Go buy a quad tab of them.
Whoa. Whoa. Let's see what they're going for right now in League.
They're not going for anything because you can buy them from Lily for 1 scroll of wisdom.
Oh, literally? Yep. Oh yeah. We'll be buying a bunch of those.
Yep, I bought 30 of them.
Save them for like 2 leagues from now, and then double corrupt all of them. Oh wow, that content was crazy. How much did it cost you? Like 100 scrolls of wisdom. Huh?
Do you see the line right below that?
Items that previously granted onslaught support, such as Forbidden Shaco, Hungry Loop unique items, now instead grant momentum support. Legacy Forbidden Shaco?
Yep.
So I know what we're doing for the next 4 days. Attack and bow-based leveling in order to better... A wire on the thing next to me just moved. On the bureau next to me. I have my old mic that's not working so good up there, and the wire just moved by itself. That was strange.
I'm sure it's nothing.
Yeah, right. Faster attack support now has a leveling requirement. There's a spider and a centipede on my wall. R.I.P. Yeah, you're dead now. You've deceased. You have deceased. That's it. Life is over. And scales the other support gems that start with a level requirement of 8. It now provides support and skills till 20% increase. Attack and move-based leveling, faster attack support, and various march skills meant they're a level lower. Yeah, that's pretty good. Marauder, Duelist, Ranger. Whoa, come on. Come on. Faster attack support is so good. They're really hurting. Sniper's Mark now has a level requirement of 4. Like skills start with a level requirement of 4. Cursed enemies now take 10% increased damage from projectile hits at gem level 1. After 35% of gem level 20 unchained. Projectile hits which now split 2 additional targets. Previously 3, so Sniper's Mark is getting nerfed. It's now offered to the Duelist and Ranger for completing breaking some eggs, so at least we'll be able to get it during the main acts. Tell my story when I'm gone? Alright, but you gotta let me know which one's actually taking you out first, the centipede or the spider. Or if they, like, fight for the right to slaughter you, you know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta let me know. Duelist Ranger for completing Lost in Love and can no longer be purchased. Okay. Savage Mark now has a level requirement of 16 at gem level 1, previously 24, so marks are being accessed earlier, but they just got nerfed, like, heavily. Warlord's Mark, also level 16. So they're all becoming level 16, so they're accessed earlier. Now has 3 or 4 physical damage to hits, previously 6 to 9. So they are very hard nerfing marks. Mark on hit support might not be worth it anymore. Oh, they're going to team up. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you know, they both have legs in common. They're just like, nice legs. You too. Spiders and centipedes, you know? It's a leg thing. Never skip leg day. Scepters, Driftwood base. Scepters are meant to be more caster-oriented than their one-handed mace counterparts. It didn't make sense that many early-game Scepter bases had significantly faster attack speeds than one-handed maces. The Scepter bases have had their base attack speed value lowered and physical damage values buffed to compensate. Base attacks 1.2, previous 1.55. Okay, so Scepters are just getting nerfed at earlier levels.
They're turning them into more caster-attractive bases.
Yeah. Wand and vendor recipe changes. Huh? Wand recipe? What do you mean? Vendor recipe granting flat elemental damage to spells no longer exists. Weapons created using this recipe in the first few acts were powerful enough sources of damage to not need to be replaced until players reached even the final few acts of the campaign, which is not ideal. Players should be actively considering weapon replacements as they progress through the leveling process, an aspect of leveling which was undercut by the existence of this vendor recipe. This also gives spellcasters a significant damage advantage in early acts. Yeah, that's true. We'll have received new implicit modifiers. They're not saying what these implicit modifiers are yet, though, huh? Goat's Horn.
They are.
Oh. I thought it said will receive new implicits. 1 to 2, so it's flat damage instead of increased spell damage.
Which is technically a nerf on the high end, but it's a buff on the low end. So it's a buff for when you're leveling, but on the high end, you'll see Opal Wand has 42% increased spell damage implicit. Legacy Opal Wands will be the best wand for crafting now.
So time to snag those up at level 86, huh?
Kind of. People who are crafting those usually want synthesized versions, and those are expensive anyways, so I thought about it, but it didn't seem worth it.
Some unique wands are found on new base types as a result of the above changes. I don't know enough about wands to know what all these implicits do. Imbued wand, is that up here? No. Omen wand? Nope. Okay, so Apep's Rage I know. Obliteration is now imbued wand. Are they still gonna have the same unique implicits for the few that do? I'm sure. I mean, you can't change a unique modifier because of a base type, right?
I'm not sure why they're doing that. I think they're just doing it for the implicits. Yeah, they're just changing the implicits on them.
Makes sense. Okay. I'm not a spellcaster anyways. Actually, I don't think I've ever done a spellcaster build. Have I? No. Well, Cobra Lash. Is Cobra Lash a spell or it's an attack?
Attack.
Wow. Whole aspect of the game I'm just not touching. In an effort to have cast speed still available to earlier for casters who want to invest into their support links, Arcane Surge now grants cast speed instead of more spell damage. Changes to Hierophant and Ascendant, as well as minor changes to Arcane Surge. Oh, so they're changing Ascendancies over it too. Arcane Surge support no longer requires Arcane Surge to grant more spell damage. So there's Legacy Arcane support? Oh no, because all gems are current state, right?
Yep, whenever they change a gem, it's current state. But when they remove a gem, the gem's still in the game. Yeah. Now
deal 10% more spell damage while you have Arcane Surge at gem level 1, unchanged, up to 25% at gem level 20. Hierophant's Arcane Blessing Ascendancy passive no longer provides 50% increased effective Arcane Surge on you, and instead it now provides Arcane Surge, grants 20% more spell damage to you. Okay, I can see that. That's a nerf, but it's reasonable. Small passives prior to Arcane Blessing and Illuminated Devotion both now provide... Oh, actually no, I had the Instacker build.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very briefly.
Oh, but that was still an attack. Power Siphon's an attack.
Oh, yeah, no, true. The small passive prior to the Arcane Capacitor, notable passive skill that provides mana and Arcane Surge effect, now provides 20% increased effective Arcane Surge on you, previously 10. The entry small passive skills for this cluster also now 20% increased effective Arcane Surge on you. Miscellaneous player balances. My back. Looking for anything super relevant.
Dude, imagine it's a miscellaneous player balances. Ben now does 50% less damage.
I wish they would throw that in, even just for the memes. Imagine Ben reading it and being like, huh? It's like an account debuff.
Yep.
take 20% of your armor up to a maximum of 10,000 at all gem levels. Previously, 30% of your armor up to 30,000. So then why would you ever want to level up Molten Shell if the buff is the same at all gem levels?
Because it deals damage at higher levels. Reflected damage.
But I guess that's quality of life for cast when damage taken, because they are trying to put an emphasis on trigger skills. Pause when moving or attacking. As a result of this change, we've adjusted the attack speed and damage provided by the anime weapons gem. This should be a net neutral change in terms of damage dealt, but results in more consistent damage. Now grants minions deal 0% more damage at gem level 1, previously 10%, scaling up to 38% at gem level 20, previously 48%. Also provides grants minions have 0% more to 38% more previously. So it's a 10% damage and speed nerf. But it's supposed to be more consistent because it's no longer pausing. Any trigger skills on items that come from a skill gem, such as Rain of Arrows from Lionized Paws, now share the same cooldown group. So using the gem version of the skill should put the triggered version on cooldown or vice versa. I feel like someone was cheesing that and they caught somebody in the act and like, oh, nope, that's not a thing anymore. Which explode or otherwise destroy themselves only when they cannot move further, such as Fireball or Return, which Return will now consistently not do so until after they have returned. Just like they don't do so before piercing. Oh, okay, piercing, forking, or chaining. If they have those behaviors. Previously, this was inconsistent. As a general rule, if a projectile wouldn't do something when it pierces or changes from an enemy and continues on, it also won't do that when it hits an enemy and returns from them. So this is directed at Nimmies.
Yeah,
all the
100%.
problems that probably came back from Nimmies.
100%. And they actually released a Q&A late last night about these changes. So you can read more about that too.
Word. Projectiles from skills which force them to explode, otherwise destroy the projectile behaviors such as concoction skills will now consistently prevent returning. Just like this presents... I mean, that makes sense for explosive concoction, you know what I mean? Projectiles which initially fire at a specific location rather than in a direction such as Caustic Arrow, now ignore this when returning, so they will continue past you until they hit something. That might turn Caustic Arrow into a pretty decent 5-way skill. Because they're going to go forward, and if any of your arrows doesn't hit anything, they're going to fly behind you until they hit something. But Nimmy's Reads returns to you at the end of its flight. So what happens if it makes it all the way to the other side of the room and doesn't hit anything? Does it come back again?
That's addressed.
That's addressed, okay.
In the Q&A, yeah.
Ball strike skills can no... Should I just go through the Q&A?
I mean, if you don't want to keep reading this.
I mean, if it's going to cover all of these. If it's not, then I'll keep reading and then we'll cover the other stuff.
The Q&A is like a Q&A about all the patch notes, but there's one in there that's pretty detailed about the Nimmies thing.
Gotcha. That one I'll read. Previous change in 3.19 doubled the values of the aura from the Shaper's Seed unique, but this was done incorrectly and only changed the displayed values on the item, not the actual values granted. So Shaper's Seed wasn't even granting all the stats that it said it was?
Correct.
Wow, how did nobody catch that?
What that means is the dev team was not in proper communication with the art team, and the art team changed the values, but the dev team never implemented them.
That's kind of nuts. Intergeneration grants that allies will always match what is displayed on the item Shaper's Seed from before 3.19, which have not yet been updated with the Divine Orbs, can still have this done. So this just became a collector's item.
Well,
so wait,
I mean,
you're telling me...
So, it's not a collector's item because the values are shown differently as what it's actually doing. So the values will be the same when you use a Divine Orb, but it won't actually... It'll be better after you use a Divine Orb.
Gotcha. So you're telling me that an item like the Shaper's Seed can have crazy values on the art, on the actual picture, and not give them to him, but somehow there's a body out there that's glitched that gives 25,000 fire res, and that's not just art connected?
Yes.
That means the dev team made it possible for a unique to roll 25,000 fire res, glitch or not.
So they explain that as a corruption in the coding somehow because the values are connected, but I think what happened in the case of Shaper Seed is that the devs didn't connect the values to the art somehow.
I see. Okay, I kind of get that. I will say one thing I noticed about the some of the like the minion thing, that it's plus 2225 or plus 2224. What's the actual rollable values on that? Isn't it like 20 something? Or plus 2 to 5?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, it's not rollable. It's actually just like +2, +2, +1.
Oh, I was gonna say if it's rollable, maybe it's like instead of rolling 1, it's just rolling both, like 22 and 25. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
rolling 2 and then 2 and then 2 and then 5. I was thinking about that earlier. Totems spawned by players are now killed upon player death. Ah, they finally got him. Remember how you're like, yeah, no, when you die, your skills stop doing damage? And I was like, this one doesn't.
This
That's not a thing anymore. The modifier on Torch Oak Step unique boost that causes totems to reflect 100% of their maximum life as fire damage to nearby enemies now has a greater radius fire. Katana versus Centipede, Katana wins. You killed a centipede with a katana. Tell me you just like spear fisherman like threw it across the room and it pierced him like into the wall. I'd be sick. How to kill bugs 101. What is this? Yeah, no. Because that's the name of it. The bow attacks fire an additional arrow. Synthesis implicit modifier can no longer roll on bows and quivers, as if it wasn't expensive enough. It is now legacy and expensive. Hold on, we're going to trade. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
And it's gone.
I can't search by synthesized, huh?
No, implicit is correct, but you gotta do bow rare.
Well, it doesn't even have to be bow. It can be quiver too. Excuse me? Oh no, that's an actual implicit. That's a corruption implicit.
Yep, so that's why it has to be bow rare, because you can't, I don't think you can have a corruption implicit on, oh, you can. So in the thing, go down to synthesized and click yes.
Stare me in the face, synthesized. Yes. 38 div, 40 div, 40 div. Why are these not sky high yet?
Because look for item level 86.
Ah, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
86 is +2 bow, +2 arrow explicit.
80 div, 100 div. These are all going to be like mirror tier soon.
So the reason why those top ones are less expensive is because no one uses Imperial bows for crafting. No one really uses Decimation bows for crafting. They use like Thicket bows and Spine bows. So see if there's any of those. Thicket bow.
Thicket bow right here, 180. That, wow. The tier 0 cold damage.
And now remember,
That's probably
a mirror
worth
is
more.
only 550 div right now, so that's like a third of a mirror. Any spine bows,
750x.
anyone?
Harbinger bow. Oh my god! Finish crafting this! Holy crap, look at this! 330 div has 3 implicits.
So that
Tier
guy
0
named,
fire damage.
that guy nameless player, he does a cell service like Zia.
Ah. I sliced it? That's fire. I hope you clipped it. Recorded it like you died today. Yeet.
Oh look, a spine bow.
Oh look, a spine. I need one of those. 8% increased explicit modifier magnitudes. 350? 44% increased cold damage. Yo, this is the cold bow. Now you just gotta elevate that, holy crap, 14% chance to deal double damage. Bow attacks fire 2 additional arrows. This is a mirror tier bow. No? Am I wrong?
Well,
You cut out what?
look at the bottom mod.
Oh, it's already mirrored. Didn't
It's
even
a copy.
see that. Yeah, okay, these are only gonna get more expensive. The Elder Hunter's Veiled and Crafted Belt modifiers that provide a chance for flash use not consume charges can no longer roll. That's good because it would undermine what they did with the Ascendancies. Increase the level at which Surveyor's Compasses can appear, as they are dropping well before Awakened Sextants could appear. Fair enough. You can no longer create Books of Regression. Yeah, those are gone. Do we do it? Do we liquidate the Cyclone Slayer build and put a level 1 in Oriath?
I think you have to.
I mean, I'm kind of retiring it anyways. I like that idea. What is the recipe for Books of Regression? Scour and Scroll of Wisdom?
Is it?
I think so. But that's my highest level character. That's level 96.
It's alright. Coffee's coming with a 5-way carry, and I have my new Orbot.
You're right. Gotta do it. Imagine in like 10 leagues and I'm like, yeah, I have a level 1 character in Oriath. And people are like, excuse me? How?
Yep, I'm gonna, just like my Inquisitor, Bodhi Flicker, I'm gonna do it to him.
That's so cool. Does Dio know about this? Is Dio gonna do it?
I told him about it, he was like, ooh, yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah. Unique item drops for Katarina, Master of Death, have been rebalanced. The Powerful Minions monster modifier has been split into 2 different modifiers. Powerful Minions, which buffs the life and damage of minions, and Constantly Revives Minions, which, well, constantly revives minions. I love when they throw a little bit of flavor in the patch notes. Kitava's Heralds in the Lava Lake boss arena now spawn as magic instead of rare. Good. Kitava's Heralds in the boss arena would smack you mid-phase for no reason because there'd be 6 of them. The rare monster modifier that triggers purple crystals when the monster is hit now has larger crystals, and the crystals have a slightly longer delay before exploding after the monster dies. The crystals now deal chaos damage instead of elemental damage and have had their damage lowered. Curses applied by necromancers are no longer removed upon death. Huh? Oh, applied to you. I thought by Necromancer Ascendancy. Ruthless specific changes. Skip. Kirak League mods. Skip. UI changes. Add an option to hide your...
Whoa, hold on. You don't want to look at the Kirak mod?
Why?
Because that...
Fortune favors the brave, cost 3 Chaos Orbs. One of these options will be applied at random, including those you have not unlocked yet.
Yeah, that's the map crafting stuff on the map device.
Abyss costs 2, Essence costs 3, Ambush costs 4, Metamorph costs 5, Heist 6, Expedition 10? Why are they making Expedition expensive?
Oh, they took away Delirium.
Well, these are just changes, right? Oh no, available during 3.2. They did take away Deli. And then Harvest, though. Area contains a Sacred Grove if you're trying to harvest Life Force.
Oh, that's busted. So Life Force Yellow Juice was super expensive. Now
it's probably going to come down. It's probably still going to be pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, but now you can farm it without having to have a sextant.
Yeah, that's true. Which means the sextants are also going to drop in price.
Remember how much those were? They were like 300 chaos.
Yeah, really. Add an option to hide your account's email address on Path of Exile login screen. This can be found in the UI options. Okay, good to know. Add an option to disable tutorials for characters you access. This can be found in the game options menu. The oils required for anointing a passive skill oh, they're also already displayed. They talked about that. Both Lily Roth and Siosa's shop tabs are now color-coded. Love that. Added the ability to release captured beasts through the bestiary panel. Why? Why would you release beasts?
So the reason for that is because there's a cap on how many beasts you can have before they start getting overwritten.
Ah.
And so before, if you wanted to get rid of certain beasts so that others wouldn't be deleted that you care about, you had to spend a chaos to capture them. So now you can just release them.
Ah, nice. Very nice. A mechanic I've barely played with is bestiary, although we did try beast crafting, which I still want to finish that instacker amulet. Still want to. Bug fixes? Is there anything important in bug fixes that you know of? Export
not that I remember.
modifiers, damage dealt to summon Stormbind totems. I mean, at this point, they're already being fixed, so. Changes since the original post was made. Oldest Saboteur regenerate 2% of life per second for each mine detonated recently. Yeah, that was a stupid idea. You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. Updated the following note. Lightning tendrils now deals. Okay, yeah. Quality on Phantasmal. Why would you want a quality that makes it deal less damage?
Well, what else does it do?
Pulses deal 0 to 150% more damage, but regularly, I mean, I don't know. How does stronger pulses of lightning tendrils work? Is it like a channeling skill?
It is channeling, so maybe like the initial hit is less damage, but the AoE is more damage.
So if it's channeling, it must have stages. So it seems like higher stages have much more. So it's you get a lot more per channeled stage, I'm guessing, is how that works.
Because they're trying to make people play builds that are slower.
Yeah, good luck. Although the Asylum Snipe unique, I mean that's a buff. If the gem isn't as crazy as level 30 Snipe, minus the reduced damage. Projectile speed of Spark, we went over that, and that's it. And Dems is the patch notes. Now, damn, we got through a lot. We got through a lot. Forum. Development manifesto or announcements?
So now you gotta go to the Q&A. I believe there's a link to it in the guild Discord. Under GGG Tracker.
$45 new messages since the last time I checked the GGG tracker.
Yeah, just scroll all the way down.
Yeah, here it is, Q&A.
G'day, Exile. Ziggity here. Welcome back.
Is that the one from yesterday?
Yo!
Yo.
Look who's in the recommended videos.
In the what?
In the recommended videos. I'm not on YouTube. I'm not signed into this. This is my other browser. Look who's in the recommended videos.
Who is it?
Me. That's me.
You?
Let's go. Me. What the hell, yo?
Joined here once again with like.
Here. What did we say we were looking for? Nimmies. What are the implications of the changes of the way projectiles return to you? Here, we'll close this. What are the implications of the changes to the way projectiles return to you for both Kinetic Blast and Fireball when used with the Nimmies ring? Oh, so this is a direct nerf to Coffee because it affects Kinetic Blast too, huh? Linked with Fork. Do they still explode on walls and your character, and on contact with Fork? Nimmies changes from projectiles return to you at the end of flight to projectiles return to you. This means projectiles return if they collide with a target and don't pierce, chain, fork, or etc. from it, where before they would not have done so. Fireball already did not explode when it forked or pierced and chained. Fireball's explosion destroyed the projectile and only happens when the projectile can't move further from any behavior. Kinetic Blast does not itself explode, it causes explosions around it when it impacts something. This is still the case.
So basically, we talked to the guild about this last night for like 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And pretty much what this means is that before this, like as it is currently, when you fire a projectile, Nimmies forces the projectile to reach its end of travel before it returns to you. So now, if it hits anything and it's not affected by something, it'll return to you immediately. So before, it would act kind of like Pierce, where It would hit something and then keep going until it would reach the end of travel and then come back to you.
So with Kinetic Blast, it won't even work anymore. If it hits something and explodes, it doesn't come back.
Unless you have, well, Kinetic Blast isn't exploding itself, it's creating explosions around the projectile. So, as long as you have something affecting the projectile itself, so like Chain, Pierce, Fork, it will come back to you at the end of all those reactions.
Oh, interesting.
Otherwise, it'll only come back to you right when it hits the first thing, if it's not affected by anything.
So now this isn't addressing the question for Caustic Arrow, though. Because Caustic Arrow will leave puddles around it.
But what is the
It doesn't do a lot of
say
hit damage.
Leaves a puddle when it hits an enemy?
Good question. Here.
Because I think it leaves one on your cursor point, wherever that is. But if it's also when it hits an enemy, that's different.
No results found for Caustic Arrow? Did I
In the
spell it wrong?
Q&A?
I probably spelled it wrong. No, hold on.
C-A-U-S-T.
Which fires an arrow which deals chaos damage in an area on impact and spreads caustic ground. So interesting.
But it's also kind of weird because I think Caustic Arrow is ground targeted, even though it doesn't seem that way. I think when you shoot it, its technical end of travel is wherever your cursor is.
Well, it says on impact, which means it'll keep going if there's no impact.
But if you go into the game and shoot, like, just to test Caustic Arrow at nothing, like in your hideout, it'll create a puddle on the ground wherever your cursor is.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
So I don't know if it'll come back to you once it creates the puddle, or if it'll keep going after it creates the puddle on your cursor.
I'm gonna tell... Well, you still have anemones in your inventory, right?
I have 6 of them, or 9 of them that I'm selling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we should slap one on and just see how the interaction is.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because they're not talking about it too specifically. They talked about it more in the actual patch notes than they did in the Q&A. Yeah. Well, shoot. That's it for the patch notes. Thoughts?
Thoughts? The Saboteur passive that is 25% chance to deal 50% more area damage is so tempting. Like, it just makes me want to go Ascendant just so I have that. The 15%.
I mean, Ascendant's already OP class.
Like, I want to go Ascendant specifically for that. Like, I'm thinking, and I want it to be spell-based, because I also want the open nearby chest when you cast a spell.
Is that on the Ascendant?
No, it's Caster Mastery.
Oh, Caster Mastery, that's right. That's like an Ascendancy ability. That's kind of nuts.
And I also want it to be an Elemental spell, because there's Elemental Mastery, 25% chance for Elemental hits to invert enemy resistance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
and then you can take the other could be Deadeye for the additional projectile.
Could be if I were using projectiles, but I have some other ideas.
Are you gonna go melee?
No, I'm gonna cast a spell.
Oh, I was like, wait a second. Hey, melee can be spells, coffee confirmed.
Incorrect. Coffee's wrong.
Oh, shoot. Alright.
Unless you're cast on crit, then you're both.
Then you're both. I think that's gonna do it for me for today. A little bit of a shorter stream. How long did we end up being live for?
3 hours?
Yeah, actually just over 3 hours. That works. Excuse me? Yo, YouTube is glitched.
Why?
Because I'm looking at my live stream stats, right? And on concurrent viewers, somehow, at 11:30 a.m., I have -8 viewers.
Aha.
My videos are so bad, I am leading people off of YouTube, I guess. What the hell?
Wow.
Hold on.
People who are on YouTube are leaving once they reach your channel.
How do I have -8 view? I'm gonna screenshot this.
YouTube, you're drunk.
YouTube, you're drunk. Go home. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll show it. I'll show it. Actually, here down here. -8 viewers. You see that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Because I'm a ghost, but are you 8 ghosts? You know what? This is what happens. You kill a centipede, and the centipede comes back, and it curses me. File. Save as. -8. Okay, but yeah. That's gonna do it for me today. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed the patch notes. Hope you guys got some crazy builds planned for, where'd my YouTube go? Where'd my YouTube go? Interesting. There it goes. There it goes. But we only had concurrent viewers. You confuse me.
Where's my YouTube?
Alright, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Next league is going to be a crazy one. I think I'm still definitely going Caustic Arrow Raider. Or I'm sorry, Toxic Rain Raider as my league start. Toxic Rain, I don't think you can start with, so I'll probably start with Caustic Arrow so I can just, you know what I mean, path up to all of my Chaos stuff without wasting any extra time and then just swap over the skills and the gear at the end. I do have a POB already made up for it, which I'm going to have to update to the new tree and see if we can tweak it to be even better. Because who knows? Could be crazy. But I will catch you guys on... What day is today? Today's Monday. I will catch you guys on Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. Maybe we will make a level 1 character at the end of the story. That'll probably be our last chance too. So we'll put the currency in, and then we'll have a one-of-a-kind character. Well, a few-of-a-kind character. Level 1 in Oriath.
League ends tomorrow.
Oh, does it?
Tomorrow, yes sir.
So the new thing launches tomorrow?
No, launches I believe on the 7th.
Oh, F.
So you got like 1 stream or 2 before the new league.
4 league ends, yeah. Alright, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I will catch you guys on Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out. And as always, see you on the next one.